ಆಗಿದೆ ಅದು. ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಇಲ್ವಾ ಚಿಕ್ಕದು? ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಇಲ್ವಾ? ಇಲ್ಲಿರ್ಬೇಕಾ?
ಕ್ಯಾಮ್ರಾ ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಈಚೆ
ಇಟ್ಲ ಎಷ್ಟೇ ಇದಲ್ಲ? ಓಕೆ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕಾಣಿಸುತ್ತೆ.
ಪೆನ್ಸಿಲಲ್ಲಿ ರಬ್ಬರ್ ಇದೆ.
Start Mala. Okay. Good evening, everyone. So today it will be a current affairs class for you. We'll be taking up the current affairs in a weekly session. Okay, means every week we'll be conducting one on current affairs. Okay. So we'll be taking up few topics from mains, prelims, and from the mapping perspective. Okay. So this is what the session is about. Okay. A little bit about me. I am Kailash. Okay. I cleared the civil service examination with a rank 465 in the 2022 examination. Okay. So again, I'm writing the exam for rank improvement. Okay. And in the meanwhile, I'll be taking up the classes also. I generally take science and technology classes. Okay. And I take up the current affairs classes also. Okay. So this is a brief about myself. Okay. A little bit about yourself, like when did you start your preparation and all? When did you start your preparation? Like, is it a new batch or have you been taking up the classes earlier? New batch? Okay, so you just started your preparation recently itself. So, this August itself. Okay. Apart from this, like what all subjects have been covered for you people?
Now they are taking
Main syllabus. Right now they're taking a polity. Okay.
But for us, it's a new NCERT that's not completed.
Huh.
GPS polity has been completed.
Okay. Apart from that, any other? So I have to go full basics right now. Okay. Okay. So are you people planning to give the exam next year, 2024 attempt? Yes. Okay, 2024 attempt it is. Okay. So see, as this is a new batch, if you find that the pace is a little faster, please let me know. Okay. I'll slow it down also. Okay. Or if you want me to tell a little faster, you can tell me to fasten up the pace also. Okay. So it is your convenience. I'll be asking in between also. Okay. Apart from that, it's audible for all, right? Okay. So we'll start with the current affairs class. Okay. So as I told you earlier, this will be a weekly current affairs where we'll be taking up few mains topic, few the prelims topics specifically. Okay. See, how many of you read newspaper regularly? How many of you read newspaper regularly? 1, 2. You? No? Okay. May I know what is the reason of why you don't read newspaper regularly? Regularly in the sense every day at least. Like, see, there are many reasons. Okay, it is not that you don't read only. Some few people do not read because they don't like to read newspaper. Few people do not read newspaper because they do not have time to read newspaper. Okay, for example, they'll be occupied with the classes. When you're occupied with the classes, you won't have sufficient time to read the newspaper. Apart from that, many people actually ignore reading newspaper, despite knowing the importance. Okay. See, I'll tell you what is the importance of a newspaper. Okay, and then we'll start up with the class. Okay. Uh, oh, see, the newspaper. Why do we read newspaper? To know the current affairs. Okay. See, this is the primary purpose of reading the newspaper. That is to know the current affairs. But don't you think by just reading the weekly magazine or monthly magazine, you can read the current affairs itself? Why to read newspaper every day? Like once in a week you get weekly magazines. So few release weekly magazine, few release monthly, few release yearly magazines. Why to read or waste every day 1 hour to read newspaper if you can cover the whole thing within 1 or 2 hours in a week, or say within one day if you take the monthly magazine, or 2-3 days if you take up the whole yearly current affairs. Okay, so why read every day? It is not just the knowledge. Okay, many a times we please. Many a times what happens is that we think that it is just for the purpose of knowing or getting some knowledge we read the current affairs. That is not the case. Okay, newspaper has number of advantages. Okay, it is not just that the moment you read newspaper you gain knowledge. Okay, apart from gaining the knowledge, it has one important aspect, that is it will help you in analyzing things. It will help you in analyzing things. See, in the editorials, okay, in the editorial they do the analysis. Okay, while doing the analysis, the editor gives certain perspective. They think in different angles. Okay, unconsciously your brain tries to analyze the things in a similar manner if you read the newspaper regularly. Okay, so if you read the editorials every day regularly, you will unconsciously start analyzing the things in the perspective which has been written by the the editor. Okay, so the editorial will generally have different perspective. It will not be just one perspective. And every day, say for example, we'll be taking up the Israel-Palestine issue. Okay, for past 2 weeks, every day they're bringing up one article. Literally, there'll be one headline. Okay, on one in some international page there'll be one article, and in every day editorial there'll be one article related to Israel Palestine. Why do they write so much of editorial, or why do they write so much? Information can be given within one page itself, right? But it is not just giving one page; it is also giving their opinion or analyzing the things. Okay, so this will help you also. So if you start reading editorial every day, it will help you in analyzing the things. See, analysis is very important for mains. Okay, and also for prelims. In both prelims and in mains, say in prelims, you won't be knowing answers for more than 40 questions. You won't be knowing answers for more than 40 questions. It is only 40 questions that you will be knowing exactly, saying that these are the questions for which I know the answer. Remaining 60 questions, it is how you analyze in the examination hall. Okay, for only those 40 questions, you'll be able to answer easily, saying that, okay, I've read it and I can guarantee and say that this is what the answer is. For the remaining 60 questions, you don't have the capability to write or analyze, or you won't be knowing anything. Over there, how you analyze is what makes it important. Okay, the way you analyze will help you in solving the remaining 60 questions. Okay, though it is impractical to solve all 100 questions. Say if not 100 questions, at least the next remaining 40 questions. Okay, you'll be at least able to attend the 80 questions. You will be able to attend 80 questions only if you are able to analyze things. So this is the reason why you have to read the editorial. That is, it will help you in analyzing the things and thinking from different perspective. Okay, you will be developing this thing unconsciously. You'll be developing this unconsciously. The same goes with the case with mains. Okay, in mains, at max you'll be knowing direct answers for only 3 or 4 questions of the whole paper. Of the 20 questions, for 3 or 4 is the only number of questions for which you'll be knowing the answers, exactly saying that, okay, this is what the demand is and this is what I will be writing, and you would have read it. For all the remaining 15-16 questions, you have to analyze, or you have to think on the spot. You have to think on the spot. Okay, you will not have time only. For 10 mark question, you have 7 minutes. And for 15 mark question, you have 10 minutes. So you do not have time to think. Okay, this you will develop this critical thinking capability if you read the editorials. Okay, so even though, see, for other questions you will be knowing the questions. It is not like you won't know the questions, but you won't know the exact answer. You won't know the exact answer. You have to analyze it immediately and then write the answer. You have to frame, you have to give a proper structure, and then you have to write the answer. This comes up through your editorial, reading the editorial every day. So this is one importance of reading newspaper, at least the editorial articles every day. Okay, this is one thing. Second thing is, nowadays we are seeing that many people are not able to clear, or they are basically not able to clear the CSAT paper. CSAT paper 2, in the prelims examination, we have paper 2 that is related to CSAT. In CSAT, we have quantitative questions, we have reasoning questions. And apart from this, we have reading comprehension. Okay, many people find it very difficult to understand the passages itself. Okay, how do we develop passages? These passages are nothing but the editorials taken up from the newspapers. These are nothing but the editorials which have been taken up from the newspaper. Okay, so it will help you in reading comprehension. Okay, people fail. Even see many people from who went to English medium school and have done engineering, where CSAT or CSAT in the sense quantitative reasoning is very common. Even those people struggle it to clear the CSAT examination. It is mainly because they ignore. Okay, they think that just like how they studied in the school or the college time, it will be the same in the UPSC also. That is not the case. Okay, here it is a little advanced in nature. Okay, so here by reading newspaper, you will be able to develop the ability to solve the reading comprehension question easily. Okay, there are in every year in paper 2, you have 27 reading comprehension questions. Okay, even if you solve only 15 questions correctly, it will be a huge advantage for you. It will be a huge advantage for you. Okay, so this is one thing. Okay, so these are the two important reasons why you have to read the newspaper every day. Okay, if not the whole paper, at least the editorial paper. Okay, please try to read at least editorial paper, at least 1 or 2 articles every day, so that you develop the capability to analyze and think logically. Okay, analyze and think logically. Many a times we fail to do it, and then whenever prelims are done, many people don't even know the reason why they failed. Okay, they don't know the reason because they don't know how to think in this manner. Okay, see, there are few. I am not saying that those who don't read newspaper, they won't clear, but those are exception in nature. Okay, those are exception in nature. It is not like of the 100 people, 80 people don't read newspaper. It is like of the 100 people who clear, 80 people read newspaper and only 20 don't read the newspaper. Okay, so you should know which category you belong to. Okay, if you don't know which category you belong to, it is better you read the newspaper every day. At least the 2 editorials will help you a lot. Okay, leave out all the political one. If you take the everyday newspaper, at least 1 or 2 articles will be political in nature in editorial also. At least for the next 3-4 months, it will be the case, because now we are moving into the phase of elections. Now it will be the state elections. So we have Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, these small state elections, and then we have the Lok Sabha election. So by the time your prelims is done, every day it will be one article will be related to the politics, how the government is doing, what is the problem with Congress, what is the problem with BJP, and they'll be criticizing the political parties, which are not necessary for us. Okay, but other articles which will be related to the civil service examination, you can read on them. So at max it will be just 2 articles. Sometimes in rare cases when they don't write any political article, that time you have to read 4 articles, that's all. Okay, otherwise it is just generally the 2 articles which you will be reading. Okay, so please try to read the newspaper every day. Okay, otherwise after the prelims you will not even know why you have not been able to clear, and you cannot you won't even know that what all are the benefits which arises from reading the newspaper. Okay, so even if you don't read newspaper and you don't clear, you won't even know that whether the newspaper has helped or not. And those people who have read the newspaper every day and have cleared the examination, they don't know whether it has helped. So many people say that, okay, this is the same thing as that of reading the monthly current affairs. Okay. So it will be like same thing as reading the monthly current affairs. Okay, but the indirect or the unconscious benefit which arises because of the newspaper is too much, okay, which you cannot give, you cannot measure that one itself. So at least try to read the editorials every now and then, okay. So this is one thing which you can do, okay. Even if not the whole article, at least 1 or 2 editorials is more than enough, okay. So now let's start with the current affairs classes, okay. So you got to know the importance of newspaper, okay. So with this we'll take up few topics, okay. So whenever you take up any topic, okay, whenever you take up any topic, see, first you should know whether the topic is important for civil service examination or not, okay. So how do we know whether a topic is important for civil service examination or not? How do we know? Syllabus, okay. So first thing is that you should know what the syllabus is, okay. First you should know what the syllabus is, and then you have to at least go through past 2-3 years of previous year question papers to know what type of questions have been asked in the examination, okay. So if you just go through the past 2-3 years of question paper and then read the syllabus, you'll get to know what what all you have to read in the newspaper. So this will filter out number of articles, okay. This will filter out number of articles, okay. The whole newspaper, you won't be even taking more than 45 minutes to read the whole newspaper if you know which article to select and which article to reject it, okay. So because many articles will be of no use for civil service examination, they'll be providing some general information which is of no use for us, okay. And few information will be very technical or at the very higher level, okay. In the sense, for example, civil service examination is just an examination for to know about general awareness. If you read the syllabus properly, you'll see that over there they write that a person who has general knowledge and awareness about the things surrounding him or her will be able to answer the questions in the GS mains, okay. In the sense, they don't need expertise. General awareness is more than enough, okay. So here, by reading newspaper, you'll be aware of all the things, okay. And there are few articles which will be specifically associated with civil service examination. For example, they'll be covering topics such as, here we have one is Israel-Palestine. We have women-related issues, okay. If you take up the syllabus, there's one topic, international relations, where they talk about international issues and bilateral relations also. India has a good bilateral relation with Israel, so this topic is a very important for us. Apart from this, if you see that this topic is important from the world history perspective also. This is one topic in world history, okay. This is one topic in world history where you will be studying the Israel-Palestine issue, okay. So it is important from the world history perspective also. So from the world history perspective, from the international relation perspective, that is as an international issue as such, okay. It is not like whether it is impacting India or not. As an international issue as such, it is an important one. Apart from that, India has good bilateral relation with Israel. So this is also one reason why we have to read, okay. So these are all associated with mains. There are few topics from, there are few things from prelims also here. That is the mapping. And there are here and there you will be seeing a lot of terms being used. In examination, the questions will be so simple that they'll just take up one term and say that this term, they'll take up some term. For example, here we have some Balfour Declaration. They'll say that Balfour Declaration, often seen in news, is associated with. They'll give some 4-5 topics and then say, ask you to select. If you don't even know what Balfour Declaration is, because this will be coming up in the newspaper every day, the term is very common. But if you don't read the newspaper, this term won't come up and you won't be able to answer the question in the examination, okay. So in prelims, very simple questions are asked. Either they just take up the terms, or sometimes they ask question from the mapping perspective also. From mapping perspective also, okay. Okay, from the mapping perspective also. So this is how, see, whenever you select any article, you have to think from a very broad perspective. How is it important for prelims? How is it important for mains? How do you know? If you know, if you read or go through the previous year questions, and if you go through the syllabus, then you will get to know whether the article is important or not, okay. And apart from this, those people who will be clearing mains, for them it is a very important issue. Literally, of the 100 candidates who attend the interview, 50 candidates will face question related to Israel-Palestine issue. It is a very common thing for the examiner to interviewer to ask question from the international relations. Last year it was full related to this Russia-Ukraine crisis, and this year it is full related to Israel-Palestine crisis. Okay, so the people who are going to the interview, they should be ready with each and every aspect related to Israel-Palestine thing. Okay, so it is important from all three angles. Okay, so as you're just writing the examination now, you don't have to think much about the the interview perspective. You think about more of the prelims and the mains perspective. Okay, you got it? So if you know the syllabus and you have gone through previous year question papers, then you'll be easily able to select the articles in the newspaper and ensure that you complete the whole newspaper or read the newspaper within 45 minutes. 45-50 minutes, not more than that. Okay, because many articles are not necessary only. Okay, so this is few introduction related to why newspaper is important and what all article you should select. Okay, yes. Okay, now let's start with the Israel-Palestine issue. We'll be taking up the Israel-Palestine issue. Okay, do you know where the origin of the Israel-Palestine issue lies? Yes. Where is or what is the core issue or why this Israel-Palestine issue is present? Huh?
Because of Al-Aqsa
Al-Aqsa Mosque. Any other? Yes? Two-state solution. Okay. Any other? Religious issue. It is not a religious issue. It is more of an issue related to having their own homeland. Okay. Both Israel and Palestine are fighting for the homeland. They are not fighting for any religion. Religion is a part over there, but it is not the religion. Israel want their home state. Palestine want their home state. Okay. See, generally whenever we use the term state in international relations, state means it is a country. Okay, country, nation. Generally, it is a nation state. Okay. So here, both Israel and Palestine are fighting for their homeland. Okay, for both the Israel and the Jews and for the Muslims, it is an important place. Important place because all three, see, generally it is all three Abrahamic religions. Okay, Abrahamic religions in the sense, just for in simple terms, all three religions have descended from the Abraham. Okay, first it was the Jews. From the Jews, okay, there was one small sect which came up who were following the Christianity. Okay, they got separated. Slowly, they started dominating. Once they started dominating, they started sending the Jews out of their home. Okay, so they started to conquer the Palestine region. Initially, the name was Israel. Okay, it was initially the name was Israel. So over there, during that time, it was about more than it was in around 600, 700 BC. Okay, around 600, 700 BC, it was the rule of the Jews. And the name of the kingdom was Israel. Okay, the name of the kingdom was Israel. And over a period of time, what happened was like within, if you take up any religion, there are a number of sects. Even in Hinduism, there are a number of sects. Here also in Jews, there are a number of sects. One such sect which emerged was the Christianity. So the Christianity emerged out of it during the 63 BC. The Christianity sect emerged. And slowly it started to dominate over the other religions. That is basically the Jews which were present. So they started to dominate and they started to send the people out of that particular Israel region. Okay, and then what they did was during when the Roman Empire came into power, they renamed the Israel as Palestine. So the name Israel and Palestine are more than 2,000 years old. It is not now that it came up. That it came up in 1947 or something. The name Israel and Palestine have been present more than 2,000 years. First, it was the rule of the Jews, the Israel, and slowly the Christianity came. They renamed the Israel into Palestine to ensure that there is no dominance of Jews in the region. Okay, and slowly the Jews were persecuted. And later on, we came the third religion, that is the Islam. For Islam, Jerusalem is a very important one. Okay, and for Christianity, the reason why Jerusalem is important is because Jesus was crucified in this region. So that's why even Christianity the Jerusalem is a very important part. Then we came the third religion, that is the Islam. For Islam, the Prophet Muhammad, the two important places, that is, what are the two important places? Makkah and Medina. What is the importance of Makkah and Medina?
They born into Makkah
Oh,
and Medina history. They went to Medina for
for
is that to
it was just a religious path. Okay, from Makkah they went to Medina, and from Medina it is said that Prophet Muhammad traveled to Jerusalem. Jerusalem, in this Jerusalem, he went to heaven. So it is the gateway to heaven. So Al-Aqsa Mosque was built on this place where Prophet Muhammad actually went to heaven. Okay, and this region, for all these these three religions, specifically, it is the Temple Mount, a specific region in the Jerusalem. A Temple Mount is present, which is important for all three religions. That's why all three religions want this in Jerusalem to be their part. Okay, or basically they want it to be renamed as international territory so that everyone has equal rights on it. Okay, so the specific part or the region which is important is the Temple Mount. Temple Mount, where the Jesus was crucified, Prophet Muhammad went to heaven, and this was the place where the Jews have one of their own important or the oldest temples. Okay, so this is the reason why it is important. So now you got to know what is the importance of it. Okay, slowly. So once the Islam came into power, Islam came slowly. The Islam started to spread. It came to the rule of Ottoman, and during the Ottoman time, even they persecuted Jews. Okay, they also persecuted Jews. So literally, Jews were pushed out of their hometown. They were pushed out of the hometown. Once they were pushed out of their hometown, they slowly went to other regions, specifically in the Europe. Many settled in Europe, few settled in USA. Okay, few settled in USA. During this settlement itself, slowly people started to feel that they have been discriminated and they were persecuted. They have been persecuted from the past 2000 years. Okay, they were persecuted. So they demanded that we need to have our own homeland. So then came the Zenoist movement. The Zenoist movement, you would have heard of it. The Zenoist movement is nothing but a movement to have their own homeland, that is a Jew homeland called as Israel. The movement started, and in the 1881, first mass exodus took place where many Jews went and started to settle in the Palestine region. They went and started to settle in the Palestine region. Okay, they started to settle in the Palestine region. Okay, and slowly they started to settle, and then during the World War I, Britain was very cunning in nature. It is a colonial power. It was very cunning. What it did was, it had an agreement with three people, in a sense, three sects. First one, they had an agreement with the Arabs telling that if we defeat the Ottoman Empire, we'll have a full Arab state. We'll have a full Arab state in this the Middle East region. That was the agreement which they had with the Arab states. Then they had one more agreement, that is agreement with the Jews, telling that if we defeat the Ottoman Empire, we'll give you a homeland. And then they had one secret agreement with the France, telling that if we defeat the Ottoman Empire, we'll take over the land and we'll control the land. This is how they planned. All the British wanted was, they wanted to acquire power, that's all. Okay, and for this they did whatever they wanted. They made a lot of false agreements. Okay, they made a lot of false agreement, and then after the World War I, the Ottoman Empire was defeated. It broke down, and then the British took control over the region. Once the British took over the control over this region in 1917, because of the lot of pressure given by the Jews, they signed one agreement called as Balfour Declaration. Okay, in 1917 they signed the Balfour Declaration, telling that we'll give you one Israel homeland. Jew homeland will be given to them. So this was done. So here they came up with the Balfour Declaration. Balfour Declaration in 1917. After the World War I and the fall of the Ottoman Empire, they signed something called as Balfour Declaration. They signed something called as the Balfour Declaration. Okay. Once they signed the Balfour Declaration, the hopes of the Jews increased, telling that, okay, now, at least now we'll have some homeland of our own. Okay, now we'll have the homeland of our own. And then people started to move, and then World War II came. During the World War II, they were persecuted in millions by the Nazi army. Now they desperately wanted one homeland of their own because they were not safe anywhere across the world. Okay, now they were desperately needed one homeland. So from there, the actual Zionist movement started in a violent manner because millions of people were persecuted and they wanted their own homeland. And they thought that, okay, now we have to push for everything. They started to push, and in the 1947, when India got partitioned, even Palestine got partitioned. Okay, in 1947, the UN had one plan called as UN Partition Plan. UN Partition Plan. Okay, where they divided the Palestine region into two parts in such a manner that one part, here you can see this yellow region is the Jew region, okay, and the black region is the Palestine region. Okay, Jew region and Palestine region. The partition plan was passed in the UN, but the Arab countries did not agree with it. Okay, the Arab countries did not agree with it because they found that you are giving too much land to the Jews. On the other hand, the Jews are saying that, okay, you are giving very less land to us. At least give little more extra land. So both countries started to fighting again. So they both started to fight it, and then slowly what happened was like the movement became little more violent, and Israel, they declared themselves to be independent. In 1948, Israel declared its independence. In 1948, Israel declared its independence. Okay, this is the UN partition plan, but this was not the case. This map did not remain the same. Okay, see, earlier time period, the population was very less. They could have actually settled for this one. Okay, but now the population has increased so much that they are finding both the lands to be short. They want more land because the population has increased. Okay, so now they will do whatever they want to acquire all the land which is disputed in nature. Okay, so here in 1948, the Israel got the independence. The moment Israel declared its independence, Egypt, Syria launched an attack on Israel. So that is first war between the Israel and the Arab countries. Okay, in 1948, we had the first war, and then in 1967, we had the 6-day war. Okay, in 1967, we had the 6-day war. Okay, where Israel literally occupied the Golan Heights, the West Bank, the Gaza, and the Sinai Peninsula. Okay, they occupied the Golan Heights, West Bank, Gaza, and Sinai Peninsula. If I just give you the map, okay, so all map are short itself. Okay, see, this is also a very big region. It is double the size of the Israel region. Okay, the part which is the Sinai Peninsula, it is a small peninsula which is present in between the Israel and the Egypt and the Israel. So on the one side we have the Egypt, we have the Israel here, and here we have the Sinai Peninsula. Okay, this peninsula is almost double the size of Israel. So they captured that region also. Okay, now Israel has an upper hand because all the land are under their control. The Golan Heights, it is disputed by Syria. The West Bank, few of the area has been disputed by Jordan, and Sinai Peninsula, it is the land of Egypt. So they have conquered all the land and they have an upper hand in all the negotiation. They started doing negotiation. Okay, slowly they started doing negotiation, but they were not convinced, and one more war took place. That is the Yom Kippur War. This is an important one for us today. Okay, this is an important one for us today. Yom Kippur is one of a holy day for Jews. Okay, just like we have a day for mourning for like all the wrong things which we have done in our life, and we we set some goal in future. For example, we have Shankranti, we have different festivals where on one day we set some goal for the next 1 year, and one day we keep one day where we take grief for all the evil things which we've done. So they one day we keep it for guilty. Similarly, they had this Yom Kippur. Yom Kippur is nothing but an auspicious day for the Jews. So they were celebrating this Yom Kippur. On that day, the war started. The war was started by Egypt, Syria, and Jordan against the Israel. Here it was a surprise attack. Okay, it was a surprise attack to get back their land. To get back their land. I told you that in the earlier war, they conquered everything. So now they wanted to get their territory back. They thought that now it is a very important day. The Jews will not be doing much over there. In the sense, they'll be busy in the holy activities. So they'll attack. But it was a failure again. It was a failure again. They were not able to get even an inch of their land back. And then here they realized that they cannot get the land back. Here one more thing happened, that is Israel, it was shown that Israel is vulnerable also. Okay, we have always been told that Mossad is one of the best. Okay, but here this is also one clear example where the Mossad failed to get intelligence information about the attack on the Israel. So here first was the failure of the Mossad was highlighted, and the weaknesses which are present in the Israel came out here. Now even Israel wanted to have peace agreements with the other countries. In this slide, slowly they came up with the accords called as Camp David Accords. Camp David Accords. In 1978, they signed the Camp David Accords, especially with the Egypt. The other countries did not agree with it, but Egypt agreed for it. Okay. In 1978, the Egypt and the Israel signed the Camp David Accord, where the Egypt recognized the Israel. So Egypt is the first Arab country to recognize Israel state. Okay. No Arab country has till date recognized the Israel. Nowadays they are recognizing under the Abraham Accord. Okay. So first is the Egypt. Okay. First is the Egypt. Okay. And then now again they are recognized it under this agreement. So what Israel felt was that it gave back its Sinai Peninsula to the Egypt back. Okay, it gave back the Sinai Peninsula to Egypt. Okay, and now things were going smooth again. But again, people felt that okay, things are going very smooth, and the Palestinian people, they thought that their land has been acquired. So what they wanted, they started a movement against the Israel again. That is called as First Intifada. Intifada is a movement against Israel by the Palestine. Once the first Intifada started, the demand for the peace agreement started again, and they signed the Oslo Accords in the 1993. Oslo Accords in the 1993. Where is Oslo situated? Norway? Capital of Norway, right? Oslo is the capital of Norway. It is a country which is neutral. It is one of the few countries which is neutral. Okay, one is Norway. The other country which we generally talk is the Switzerland. Switzerland and Norway are considered to be the neutral countries. Okay, some even include Sweden and Finland, but the most neutral countries are the Norway and the Switzerland. Okay, so they are neutral country. So what the Israel and Palestine thought that okay, if the neutral country is there, they can negotiate in a peaceful manner based on their own terms. Okay, but remember this: though the Oslo Accords were signed, there were two Oslo Accords, and both were not signed in Oslo. They were signed in one. The first one was in Washington DC, and the second one was in the Egypt. Okay, remember this. The Oslo Accords were not signed in Oslo. Generally, whenever we talk about any declaration it is, or any accords it is, we associate with the region. Okay, for example, we have Delhi Declaration, means it was done in Delhi. Okay, any country it is or any place it is, we generally use the name over there, right? But in the Oslo Accords, they were not signed in Oslo. The first accord was signed in Washington DC, USA. The second accord was signed in Egypt. Okay, so remember this thing. So whenever in prelims one question arises telling that Oslo Accords were signed in the capital of Norway, it is a wrong statement. Okay, it is a confusing statement because in general, Oslo Accord should have been signed in Oslo itself, but this did not happen. Okay, so remember this thing. Okay, and then things were going normal again. So Oslo Accord, both started to recognize each other. Okay, and slowly the things were becoming normal. But in both Israel and in Palestine, there were few right-wing activists. In the sense, there were few violent groups. Okay, for example, in Palestine, we have two groups. Okay, one is the Palestine Liberation Organization. Under it, one is the Fatah, which controls the West Bank, and there is one more, that is Hamas, which controls the Gaza Strip. Hamas is more violent in nature, whereas the PLO or the Fatah is more peaceful in nature. They want peaceful dialogue, whereas the Hamas want a violent one. They want whole of the Israel to be under their control, whereas the Fatah is ready for a two-state solution. Okay, so there are moderate one and there is one violent one. So here the moderates one, so they were okay with everything, but Hamas, what it happened was Hamas won the election in the Gaza and they took over control of the Gaza Strip, and slowly they started to attack Israel. And in 2021, Israel did one blunder by raiding the Al-Aqsa Mosque. Israel did one blunder by raiding the Al-Aqsa Mosque. Okay, it raided the mosque thinking that there are many extremist terrorist or terrorist organized people are present in this mosque. Okay, but it was a backfire for them. Okay, they were present, but they were not able to establish their links or anything. Okay, so this was one main reason why we see the today's conflict between the Israel and Palestine. Okay, everything were going smoothly until this Al-Aqsa raid. Okay, once the Israel raided, there was Palestine criticized it, but Hamas wanted a revenge against this thing because they entered into mosque. Okay, the same thing which happened in India also. When the people entered or the army entered into the Golden Temple, there was a conflict between the Hindus and the Sikhs. Okay, same thing happened here also. If you raid into any religious place, it obviously leads to conflict. So here Hamas wanted a revenge for this one. So they waited for this, and again on the 50 years of the Yom Kippur War, they attacked the Israel again. Okay, this time again it was a surprise attack. Okay, I told you. Okay, Yom Kippur was also a surprise attack during that time. Now, the present war was also a surprise attack. Okay, a surprise attack, the failure by the Mossad to get any intelligence information. Okay, and there was an attack on the Israel. So, can you get a link? Why it is called as Yom Kippur 2 war, or sometimes they use it as Yom Kippur 2.0. Okay, yes. No, it is not. They just use a different term. Okay, it is because it was launched again during this holy day itself. Huh.
That was during the Yom Kippur.
Yes. During that Yom Kippur. Okay, that they were undergoing their holy days. During this holy days, they attacked. Okay, so and it was a surprise attack again. So that is why there has been a little link with the Yom Kippur war. Okay, during that time also it was a surprise attack, but during that time it was the other Arab countries. Now it is the Hamas which is attacking the Israel. Okay, you got it? So this is the background of the Israel-Palestine war. No. See, Yom Kippur is a holy day for Jews.
In 2023 also was it a holy day?
Yes. The holy day. We have every year we celebrate our holidays, right? See, every day we celebrate Sankranti every year, right? Every year we celebrate New Year. Same is the case with other religions also. See, every year Muslims celebrate Ramzan. Every year the Jews celebrate this Yom Kippur. Every year the Christians celebrate their holidays. Okay, the Christmas and all. Same every year the Yom Kippur takes place. But here it was the 50th year of the Yom Kippur war. And during the Yom Kippur itself, they attacked again. That is why sometimes you hear the word Yom Kippur 2.0. Okay, you should know little history also. Why this conflict is not only associated with Al-Aqsa. Okay, it is also associated with 50 years of Yom Kippur war. It is 1973 and we today is 2023. It is 50 years of Yom Kippur war. Okay, you got it? So this is the history of the attack. Okay. The reason why we have this conflict and why this specific time period is because of this and this one. Okay, you got it? Any doubt with respect to the history? No, right? Okay. See, the history as such is not so important. Okay, I told you that the questions might be asked in world history, but it is very rare that they ask the history as such. They won't ask you how the Israel or Palestinian issue arise or something like that. They'll basically ask what is India's relation. That's all. Okay, they won't ask the history. They won't ask the historical events. In civil service examination, we have gone into an era where they ask more of an opinion than the chronological events. Okay, but the terms which I used are very important. Okay, I use the term Temple Mount. Okay, I use the term Balfour Declaration. We have Yom Kippur War. We have the Intifada, Camp David Accords, Oslo Accords. Okay, and Al-Aqsa Mosque. In prelims, questions are asked with respect to the conflicted regions. Okay, in the past also many questions have been asked. Almost every year, or at least once in alternative year, we find that there will be at least one question which is related to the conflicts. Okay, sometimes they take up Afghanistan, sometimes they take up these African conflicts. Okay, now we are seeing that there are a number of conflicts which are taking place in South America, and we have the Israel conflict here. So here in the examination, they take up the conflicted region and tell that which is this part associated with. Okay, so they'll take up one region. So example, many people won't be aware of Temple Mount. So they'll just say Temple Mount, often seen in news, is associated with. That's all. It will be very simple one. Okay, or they'll just say, they'll give this one and they'll ask for match the following. Okay, so either it will be a match the following question where they'll take 4 conflict region and they ask which region they are, or they'll take up one topic and they'll say which it is associated with. Okay, you got it? How the questions are asked? Okay.
Do we need to remember those numbers of history?
Numbers as such is not so important. Okay, years are not so important. At least remember the names. Okay, remember the names, that is more important than the numbers. But over a period of time, once you start reading it regularly, the numbers will come automatically to you. Okay, numbers will come automatically to you. You don't have to even think that, you won't even be thinking that you will be by-adding. Automatically the numbers will come automatic to you. Okay, at least for the important events, you will get the numbers. Okay, you got it? Any doubts? Okay, so this is all about the history of the Israel-Palestine war. Now this has been the history. I told you what was important for prelims. Now what is important for mains? The things which are important for mains are, this is all history. Okay, I think they'll be sharing you the PPT also. If they're not, I'll just let them, tell them to share the PPT. So here they've given in detail how the Israel-Palestine issue came up. Okay. The next important thing here is, one from the prelims perspective, the other one is from the mains perspective. That is the India's relation with the Israel and Israel-Palestine issue as a whole. Okay. Generally, India has been in favor of establishing the state of Palestine and also the state of Israel. Okay. So India has, that is India's stand is, or the official stand is, that we should have a two-state solution in accordance with the UN plan. In accordance with the UN plan. In the UN plan, there was state of Israel, there was state of Palestine, and the Jerusalem was an international area. Okay, the Jerusalem was an international area or a territory controlled by all the countries. Okay, it is an international area, whereas the Israel and Palestine were control of their own political parties. Okay, but both countries did not agree because both wanted Jerusalem to be their part. Okay, so both, even Israel wants Jerusalem to be their part, Hamas also, or the Palestine also wants the Jerusalem to be their part. That is the reason why we do not have any peace agreement between them till date. Okay. Now, in 1947, they did the partition, and in India, generally the stand has been in favor of the Palestine itself. That is from the time of Gandhiji. Gandhiji also said that the Palestinian right to homeland should not be taken away. Okay, from the Gandhiji said this thing, and okay, then generally it has been, India, as it underwent the partition, it did not want any other partition to take place. Okay, but considering that both the countries have their own legitimate demand, okay, both want their home to be there. So they wanted, or India agreed for a two-state solution. Okay, India agreed for a two-state solution. And when this current conflict started, it criticized the terror act of the Hamas. Okay, India always advocates for a peace dialogue. Okay, it always advocates for a peace dialogue. So here it was a terror attack. Okay, terror attack in the sense violent attack took place, and many countries recognize Hamas as a terrorist organization because they use violent means, whereas all countries recognize PLO or the Fatah as the legitimate authority of Palestine. Okay, because they always advocate peaceful dialogue. Okay, so nowadays we are seeing that the main conflict is between the Hamas and the Israel. It is not between the Hamas and the Fatah. Okay, you got it? Okay, so here India accepts the two-state solution. It criticized the terror act done by the Hamas, and it's advocating for a peace dialogue between the Hamas and the Israel. This is what India's stand is. Okay, and in 2016 and 17, India dehyphenated the relation between the Israel and Palestine. Means earlier, before the 2015-14, the relation was such that we always used to think twice while we are making decisions with the Israel. Okay, whenever we used to make any decision with the Israel or have any bilateral treaty with the Israel, India used to think twice because they used to think what Palestine will think. Okay, what will be their reaction? The reason why we used to think twice was because Palestine, all the Arab countries advocated for Palestine state and they were against Israel, and India was heavily dependent on the oils. So India had to think twice whenever it used to make decisions with the Israel. But in 2017, India dehyphenated the Israel-Palestine and they said that we'll have an independent policy towards Israel, we'll have an independent policy towards Palestine. Okay, we'll have an independent relation with the Israel and an independent relation with the Palestine. Okay, so this ensured that the India's relation with the Israel also become closer because it is important. Israel is a very important state for India because it helps in providing various defense equipments. Okay, so it wants good relations with Israel, and it does not even want to harm relation with the Palestine. So it dehyphenated the relation and said that we'll have our independent policy for both the countries. Okay, so here India displayed its strategic autonomy. What is strategic autonomy? What is strategic autonomy? Anyone? Anyone with political science optional? Anyone with political science optional? No? No political science? Okay. Okay. It's okay. Anyway, it's not just for political science. As you're starting, you won't be knowing about this word. In future, you'll know what this strategic autonomy is. Strategic autonomy basically means a capacity of a country to take independent decisions with respect to international relation. Okay, for any international relation, if a country has the capability to take independent decision, then it is said to be having strategic autonomy. Okay, till today, or till say past decade, before the past decade, India did not have proper strategic autonomy in the sense we had to convince both Russia and USA. Okay, whenever we used to take any decision. So our foreign relation was always under the pressure of one or the other country. But after the 2014, India became more independent with respect to the foreign policies. They don't care what other countries think. We want this thing, then we take up with that policy. So India started to take independent decision with respect to the foreign policy. Okay, so strategic autonomy is nothing but the capability of the country to take independent decisions with respect to the international relation or foreign relations. Okay, so now here India displayed its strategic autonomy by dehyphenating Israel and Palestine. Okay, it said that okay, now we will take decisions however we want. Nor the Arabs will tell what we want, nor the USA will tell what we want, nor the Russia will tell what we want. Okay, we will take our independent decision based on our needs. So strategic autonomy is decision based on our needs or national interest. Sovereignty is a country's independence. See, there's this different. Sovereignty is more of a with respect to independence of a state as a whole. But here it is more of a relation between the other countries. Okay, so when we are taking, see, there's no specific thing which we can say that there's difference between these things. They are used in different context itself. That is more of a relation or a state as a whole. State in the sense, one country has a sovereignty. That is, it has the capability to take independent decision. This is mainly associated with strategic autonomy. Earlier, India was a sovereign country, but despite that, we did not have the strategic autonomy because we were influenced by other countries. Okay, you got it. We were influenced by other countries. So in the international arena, the strategic autonomy comes into action only when the country takes the decisions based on its national interest and independently, not because of some country's influence. Okay. Earlier, what used to happen was India used to take decision because either USA used to give pressure, or the Russia used to give some pressure, or the Arab countries used to give some pressure. That is why India used to take decision. Okay. Now, but after the 2014, we have seen that this is not taking place. India is taking independent decision. They don't care what USA thinks. For example, India bought S-400 from the Russia. S-400 is a defense system. India bought S-400 from the Russia. USA told that we'll sanction India. India said, we don't care, you do whatever you want. Okay, earlier India used to fear to take these decisions. Okay, so here it is because of the strategic autonomy. It is just one word used. Instead of elaborating so much, we just use one small word which will tell what the meaning is, that's all. Instead of writing a whole sentence telling that because of India's independent policy, etc., all those things, why to write 2 lines when you can write it within 2 words? Okay, so if you just write India has a strategic autonomy, it will explain on its own. You don't have to write the 2 sentences in the examination hall. Okay, you got it?
From Israel we are getting defense materials. So from Palestine, what we are getting?
We are not getting anything from Palestine.
Why we are giving that much importance to Palestine?
We are not giving importance. We are giving importance because it is they are demanding. Their demand is legitimate in nature. India suffered the partition, and we want our own homeland. Okay, whereas the Palestine also has their homeland. See here, I told you that both Israel and Palestine, it is the homeland for both. They have to negotiate and come to a peace agreement. Okay, now it is their legitimate right which they are asking, and we have to support the legitimate right. India has territorial dispute with other countries. For example, we have territorial dispute with Pakistan and China. Okay, we want them to solve the dispute in a bilateral manner. Okay, and here we are telling that it is our land. India is telling that it is our land. What if we say that, okay, no, we don't care about the Palestine, but we need the support of other countries when it comes to Pakistan and China? That is not a right thing. So we have to support their cause also. Then only we'll get the support from the other countries. If we just say that we are just focusing only on our thing, but only when we need, you come and help us, that is not the right thing to do. Okay, it is in international context, we have to support them because their cause is legitimate in nature. Okay, their cause is legitimate, they want their homeland, okay, that is there. But India puts the condition saying that it should be based on UN partition plan itself. Okay, you cannot say that we want the whole Israel region as such. India won't accept that one. India accepts only 2-state solution, giving legitimacy to both Israel and Palestine. You got it?
But Modi said that India stands solidarity with Israel.
When in this present context, it is with the Israel. I told you here it is more of a terror attack. See, you cannot use violent means. Okay, already peace dialogues are going on. Why to use violent means? That is why India stands solidarity with the Israel, because now it is been attacked. What if tomorrow China attacks India? With whom does we should stand solidarity? Because the China attacked on India, all countries will support India because China is the aggressor state. China is the aggressor state. Here, Hamas is the aggressor state here. Hamas is acting in an aggressive manner. They could have chosen a diplomatic means to resolve their dispute, right? They did not do it. That is why all of the world is supporting the Israel. And the presence of Palestine is decreasing because of this violent activity. Earlier, everyone used to criticize Israel because Israel used to be more aggressive in nature. This time, it is the Palestine which is aggressive in nature. Specifically, Hamas is the aggressive in nature. That is why Israel is getting a lot of support from all the countries across the world. Okay, and Hamas did many mistakes here. One of the biggest mistake was the attacking the hospital. Okay, and the French intelligence have said that it is a attack by the Hamas on their land itself. So here, the Israel again, what they did was they could have taken the ownership, telling that okay, it was a mistake which was done. Okay, if they would just said that by mistake they attacked the hospital, things would have been normal again. But here they blamed it on Israel again. So now again there has been sympathy being created against the Israel. Okay. So here we are favoring Israel here because Hamas is the aggressor state. Okay. You got it?
So because of Hamas means grouping that Palestine. So if everyone is supporting Israel,
Huh.
that Palestinian people they will lose their right, no sir.
They will not lose their right. See, they're not. See, we are just sympathizing the Israel. We are not telling Israel to attack the Gaza Strip completely. They cannot take control over the Gaza Strip.
So each and every country is supporting Israel.
Huh.
So their strength will increase now. So easily they can acquire Palestine.
They will not acquire. No country is ready for acquiring the other countries. Here they are just giving or sympathizing India. That's all. Say we are just sympathizing with the Israel. Just because they have been the one who have been victimized here, all countries are supporting Israel because the other country is using the violence against the Israel. That is why they are just supporting Israel. It is that this does not mean that they'll acquire the Gaza Strip. No country will accept them acquiring the Gaza Strip. You got it? It is just, see, you are just supporting them. Okay, so if some conflict happens, you have to support some party or you support both. Okay, here you are supporting one party because the other one was aggressor. That's all. Okay, here by just because they are supporting Israel does not mean or give the power to the Israel that they will acquire the Gaza Strip. It's acquiring the Gaza Strip will again lead to condemnation of Israel. It will again lead to condemnation of Israel. Even India will criticize the acquisition of this Gaza Strip.
So instead of involving in this case, being idle, will it become right decision to India, sir?
In a sense?
Instead of involving in this case,
Huh.
so being idle, will it become right decision to India?
India is idle itself. It is not doing much here. It is just criticizing the Terror Act. See, India's stand has been very simple. Journalists, politicians, they are taking different stand. Officially, India's stand is very simple. We criticize the Terror Act. We want you to have peace dialogue. We support two-state solution. This is India's stand. Okay, whatever your stand is coming, it is because of the journalists or the media coverage and other things. Okay, as such, the official stand is just this much only. Okay, officially, India criticizes the terrorism, the act of terror done by the Hamas. India wants to have a two-state solution by having a peace dialogue. That's all. This is what India's stand is. In the sense, whenever you hear about whatever the Jay Shankar says, that is what the stand is. You will see that his stand is this only. He won't say anything apart from this. Okay, there are other politicians who are involved, so we don't want other politicians. We want India's official stand. If we bring up all those things, then obviously there are a few issues with Israel also, there are a few issues with the Palestine also. So few parties support Palestine, few parties support Israel. So that is not the India's stand. It is people's stand. India's stand in the sense, India's official stand taken up by the government of India. Okay, so whenever I say India's stand, means it is the official stand of India. Okay, so India's official stand has been very simple in nature. That's all. Yes.
When it comes to Israel, India takes a stand, but when it comes to Russia, Ukraine, we will abstain.
No, we took the stand over there also. We said that the India.
Many of the time, UN resolutions we have abstained.
Here also we abstained the resolution in the UN also with respect to Israel-Palestine issue. We did not vote for any country. We abstained it.
India is not supporting for peace.
Where? No, India is supporting the peace. The stand which they took in that case was that India did not vote in the UN one because lot of terror incidents were missed out from it. They wanted to make it look very liberal, but India did not want it to make it very look liberal because, see, India is one country which is affected by terrorism. In future, if some attack happens, and if we do not specifically use the word terror and the extremist activities, India will be affected in future. Okay, there will be sympathy against the Pakistan also in future if some Pakistan and India war takes place. Okay, so India has to be very careful thinking the future also. It cannot just take that, okay, today it is our day, we'll take. No. In international relation, we have to think about future also. It is not just for today that we support one country, it will happen. That won't happen. Okay, it is best to stay neutral. If it is not fulfilling our needs, it is best to abstain the things. Okay, in Russia, Ukraine also, all the countries were criticizing Russia. That is why India did not vote for any UN resolution, because it wanted for a peaceful resolution and respecting the territorial integrity. When India said that we should respect the territorial integrity, it means it is a message to Russia telling that we do not agree with you acquiring the Ukraine. Okay, you have to respect the territorial integrity, and then they back out, saying that we'll abstain it because in the resolution they were blaming Russia. In this one, they were not blaming terrorism. Okay, it was more of a liberal resolution. It was not a resolution for peace or anything. It is just for namesake it is. Okay, you got it? Yes. Any other doubts? Okay, yes, sir.
When the government of India takes the stand of Israel supporting that, but many of the citizens, students, certain community universities that they were supporting Palestine cause.
Oh.
Will it be accepted?
Why will it be accepted? India's stand is different. See, India is India. India is a democracy. Everyone has the right to speak out for it. Okay, you can take whatever opinion you want. You can completely support Palestine. You can completely support Israel. You can completely support anyone you want. India is a democracy. You can take or give whatever opinion you want. Okay, but India will take a stand based on its interest, based on national interest. Okay, remember this. Okay. So you see, you don't have to think all those things. You don't need what universities say, what students say, what people say. It doesn't matter to us. That is why I said we have to segregate things for civil service examination and keep away from the politics. Okay? Yes? Any other doubts? No. Chalo, you got what India's stand is? Okay. Now we got to know what India's stand with Palestine is. Okay. But how has been India's relation? See, generally India's relation with Palestine, there is no much activity which takes place because Palestine does not have anything much with it. Okay, though we recognize them that it is a Palestinian state and we give them a legitimate right in this world. Okay, but we have a lot of relation with the Israel. In the sense, we trade with Israel. India has a trade of about 10 billion with Israel. Okay, trade of about 10 billion with Israel, which is positive or trade surplus for India. Means we export 8 billion and import only 2 billions. Okay, means it is a trade surplus. So it is advantage for us to have trade with Israel. And what all do we trade? We trade with for defense equipments, agricultural equipments, water management techniques. Okay, these are the things which are focused whenever we talk about Israel. Israel has one of the best water technologies, best agricultural technologies, and good defense equipments. That is why India wants Israel. Okay, because India is one country which needs all these three. Okay, it is not just defense. Agriculture and defense are also very good in Israel. Literally, all of its water is derived from the salt water of Mediterranean Sea. Okay, and they do it by having the best technology. India faces shortage of water in Chennai, in the Mumbai and all. There is shortage of the fresh water, sweet water. Okay, there is shortage of fresh water because there is a lot of salt water intrusion which is taking place. Okay, for this we need the technology which will be able to remove the salt easily. So Israel has the technology. So we have a lot of agreements with the Israel, mainly with respect to three aspects, that is defense, agriculture, and water management. Okay, you got it? And then India is also engaging with the Israel through I2U2 grouping. What is I2U2 grouping? India, Israel, America, and UAE. Okay, UAE. Okay, India, Israel, USA, and UAE. Okay, UAE. Okay, so with these countries, we have a grouping to establish peace in the region and to build infrastructure in the region. Okay. Okay. And India's relation with, now one more thing. One thing I missed out in the earlier case. There are few agreements called as Abraham Accords. Okay. There are few agreements called as Abraham Accords. Okay. Abraham Accords. In recent times, many Arab countries are signing deals with the Israel, or they are basically opening up their diplomatic relation with the Israel. Okay, and they are done under the Abrahamic Accords. Okay, we have Qatar, we have UAE, who have signed this Abrahamic Accord, and they have recognized Israel. Okay, till that time, only Egypt was the only country which had recognized the Israel. Okay, And lately, that is in the past 1 decade, we have seen that few countries, for example, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, UAE, they have started to recognize the Israel, and they are recognizing Israel under the Abrahamic Accords, which have been brokered by USA. Okay, they are trying to ensure that we have a peaceful dialogue properly. Okay, and have a peaceful Middle East. Middle East is one of the most conflicted region in this world. Okay, so here to ensure that there is peace, slowly first we have to build the relation between the Israel, Iran, and Saudi Arabia. These three powers should come together. Then only there will be peaceful resolution. Otherwise, whatsoever happen, there won't be any peaceful resolution. Okay, so first for this, slowly we are coming up with Abraham Accords. Okay, you got it?
When we recognize Israel.
We recognized Israel later. Oh. Exact date. We had full diplomatic relation in 1992. Okay, where we started to establish the state of Israel. But I think India recognized Israel in 1948 itself. Okay, it recognized the Israel starting itself, but we did not have diplomatic relation. Okay, means there was no embassy as such being set up. Okay, most of the dialogues were taking place just informally. In 1992, we established the full relation or diplomatic relation with the Israel. In the sense, in 1992, there is Israel embassy and Indian embassy being set up. Okay, you got it? Okay. Next, almost of the 10 billion trade, 2 billion is related to the defense equipments itself. Okay, Israel provides number of defense equipments with respect to the counter-terrorism, with respect to the missiles. Okay, and then with respect to the drones also. For example, we have Heron drones, which has been imported from the Israel. Okay, so they provide a lot of defense equipments to India for counter-terrorism, for missiles, and for drones. Okay. Next, water and agriculture and water resources, and we have little amount of industrial and R&D cooperation also, because Israel is one country which has one of the largest startup across the world. Okay, USA comes first, second comes the Israel, and third comes the India. Okay, so Israel has one of the largest startups across the world. Hence, we have good relation with them because they bring up with new technologies. In this light, India has started few initiatives. That is, India-Israel Initiative for Industrial Research. Okay, I for RD, and then India-Israel Industrial R&D and Innovation Fund to fund the startups. Okay, these are two initiatives for innovation and industrial cooperation. Okay, and apart from this, number of Indian community are present in the Israel. Okay, it is said that there are 18,000 Indians in the Israel and about 85,000 Jews of Indian origin. Okay, of Indian origin. So that is why Israel is important for us. Okay, we have significant diaspora in the Israel. Okay, any doubts? So this is the relation between India and the Israel. Okay, you got it? Okay. So we move on to the next topic. Any doubts with respect to the Israel-Palestine issue? Okay. This is the map of Israel and Palestine. So I told you, like in prelims, you should know the terms and you should know the maps also. Okay. As this topic is in news, we'll just take up few mapping here. Many times the questions have been asked whether it has been like the country has some opening to the sea, or which all countries surround the Mediterranean Sea. Okay. Something like this is been asked. So here we have Israel. It is a map of Israel. Okay. In the map of Israel, we see that on the one side, on the right side, we have the West Bank. This part is the Golan Heights. Here we have the Gaza Strip. We have the Gaza Strip. Okay. These are all part of Israel and Palestine. Okay. Golan Heights is a disputed territory with Syria. Okay. Golan Heights is a disputed territory with Syria. Few of the disputed territory with respect to the West Bank is with Jordan. Okay. Jordan claims certain land in the disputed territory of West Bank. Okay. Next, we have the Gaza Strip. Okay, it is not claimed by anyone. Okay. And then below this one, we have the Sinai Peninsula. Okay. Sinai Peninsula. Okay. If you just see the Africa map, Okay, if you see the Africa map, the Africa map looks like something like this, right? Okay, so here we have the Arabian Peninsula. Okay, here this is the Africa, and this is the Sinai Peninsula. Okay, this is the Sinai Peninsula. This side we have the Mediterranean Sea. Okay, here we have the, which is present here below the Arabian Peninsula, which is a sea which is present below the Arabian Sea, Arabian Peninsula. Huh? Red Sea. Red Sea. Okay, on top of this we have Persian Gulf. Okay, on top of the Arabian Peninsula we have the Persian Gulf. Okay, and here we have the Sinai Peninsula. Sinai Peninsula connects the Mediterranean Sea with that of the Red Sea, and here in this region we have the Suez Canal. Okay, Suez Canal is present in this region. Okay, in this Sinai Peninsula. Okay, you got it? Okay, so this is Sinai Peninsula. Next, Israel opens up to two seas. Okay, two oceans. One is here we have the Mediterranean Sea. Okay, on the other hand, here we have the specifically we have the Red Sea. Okay, we have Red Sea, and the last part of the Red Sea or the closest part near the Israel is called as Gulf of Aqaba. Okay, Gulf of Aqaba. So here there is one small gulf which is present between the Sinai Peninsula and the Arabian Peninsula. We have one small gulf that is called as Gulf of Aqaba. Okay, Gulf of Aqaba is a small gulf which is present between the Sinai Peninsula and the Arabian Peninsula, and after that Gulf of Aqaba we have the Red Sea. Okay, so basically Israel opens up to both Red Sea and that of Mediterranean Sea. Okay, remember these two. Here we have the Mediterranean Sea, here we have the Red Sea, and it opens up to Red Sea with the help of Gulf of Aqaba. Okay, apart from this there are two water regions also. That is, one is the Dead Sea and the other one is the Sea of Galilee. Here we have the Sea of Galilee, okay, Galilee, and we have the Dead Sea. Okay, we have Dead Sea here and the Sea of Galilee, which is also part of Israel. So you got what all are the water regions? The Sea of Galilee, we have the Dead Sea, Mediterranean Sea, and the Gulf of Aqaba or the Red Sea. Okay, so these are all the water bodies which are present around the Israel. Apart from this, in the northern region we have the Lebanon. North of Israel we have the Lebanon. On the right side, top right, that is we have the Syria. Down we have the Jordan, and then on the other side we have the Egypt. So these are the countries which are surrounding Israel. Okay, these are the countries which are surrounding Israel. Okay, yes. Okay, these are the countries which are surrounding Israel. Now, what all are the names which you should remember? I told you already. Okay. So apart from this, every now and then you will be hearing one more term in the news, that is Hezbollah. Have you heard of Hezbollah? Have you heard of Hezbollah? No. Yes? It is present in Lebanon. It is one part of Lebanon. Okay, they rule one part of Lebanon region. Okay, so they are also threatening that they will attack the Israel. Okay, so here this part is where the Hezbollah rule. Okay, Hezbollah rule. So on the north of the Israel, it is the Hezbollah's rule in the Lebanon. Okay, Lebanon is one unique country across the world where they have divided the powers between different religions. Okay, for example, the president will be always a Christian. Okay, will always be a Christian. The prime minister will be given to one, I think it is Sunni Muslim or Shia Muslim or something. Okay, so prime minister one religion, one sect of religion, president one sect of religion, speaker one set of religion. Okay, different religion has been given to them. So constitutionally, the positions have been divided between different religion to ensure that there is peace and everyone gets the power. Okay, so it has a unique type of constitution itself. Okay, and one of the group is the group of Hezbollah. Okay, who controls the southern part of the Lebanon. Okay, you got it? Okay. Any doubt with respect to the mapping? Okay, so you should know what all are the, see there is no water bodies here, so otherwise I would have told water bodies also. There is no specific water body. Okay, in the Israel, there is rivers as such. There are 4 water bodies which you should remember, and the countries which are surrounding the Israel. Okay, you got it? And you should know the disputed territories which are present. Okay, yes. Any doubts? No. We'll move on to the next topic. Yes. Okay, the next topic which we'll be talking or discussing is the The next topic which we'll be discussing is the female labor force participation rate. Okay. In the past 2 weeks, we have seen that number of articles have been written with respect to the female labor force participation rate. Okay. Recently, Nobel Prize was also awarded for studying about the female labor force. Okay. Yes. Okay. So here in 2023, in the field of economics, the Nobel Prize was awarded to Claudia Goldin, who studied about the female labor force. Okay, for that they awarded the Nobel Prize in the field of economics. And after that, in India also one survey came up, that is the periodic labor force survey. Okay, under that survey also a number of points were written with respect to the female labor force participation rate. That is why female labor force participation rate is in news. Okay, there are 3 reasons. 2 I told you. One more is recently even the World Bank released a report. That is why in the past 2 weeks we are seeing number of articles related to the labor force participation rate, specifically with respect to the females. Okay. So we'll discuss about the female labor force participation rate. This is one image which has been given in the female, that is periodic labor force survey. Okay, where they have said that the labor force participation rate of women has increased from 23% in 2017 to 37% in the 2022. Okay, in the 2022. Whenever I say 2022, it is 2022-2023 financial year. Okay, 2022-2023 financial year. Okay, so here 2022, it is the 37%, and it was in 27% in 2017. In India, we witnessed a decrease in the female labor force participation rate before this one. Okay, in the sense, our labor force participation rate decreased from 1990 with 28% to 24% in 2017. So there was a decrease, and now we are seeing it an increase. So this is why this is a significant time period for labor force. Okay, female labor force. No. The 3 reasons why the labor force is in news, because first, the Nobel Prize. The second one is periodic labor force survey. Okay, and then the World Bank released a report. Okay. See, India, I said it has been done by periodic labor force survey. This is a survey done annually by National Statistic Organization under the Ministry of Statistics. Okay, so under this ministry, this survey is done. Okay, generally many times the question has been asked with respect to the reports. Okay, when they ask about reports, they come up with different departments. Okay, so here sometimes they will give NSO, and they'll also give Labor Bureau. Labor Bureau is also one department in the government which takes up the survey with respect to the labor force. Okay, but the periodic labor force survey is done by the National Statistics Organization under Ministry of Statistics. Okay, under Ministry of Statistics. So this is a prelims related information. Okay. Now under the report, what they have said that the female labor force participation rate has increased. It has increased to 35.6%. Okay, it has increased to 35.6%. Okay, and it is said that the female labor force participation rate is higher in the rural area than in urban area. In urban area, the female labor force participation rate is less. It is just about 26%. Okay, whereas in the rural area, it is very high. It is 39%. So it says that in rural, the female labor force participation rate is higher than that in the urban area. but there is one catch. The catch is the people or the women in the rural area, urban area, earn more when compared to that of the rural area. Okay, means the wage disparity in the urban area is less when compared to that in the rural areas. Okay, so the wage disparity in urban area is less when compared to that of rural areas. Okay, in general, the male earn about 2.8 times more than that of female. Okay, 2.8 times more than that of female. So, for example, if a female is earning 100 rupees, then the male will earn about 280 rupees. Okay, the male will earn around 280 rupees. So, this has been highlighted in the report. So, there is a wide gap between the wages. So, there is a huge gender pay gap. Gender pay gap. Okay, and this gap is very wide in the rural area and low in urban areas. Okay. Okay, you got it? Okay. So these are just few data. Okay, and next they say that only about 14 or 15% of the female in India own agricultural land. Okay, only about 14.7%, that is about 15% of the women own agricultural land. All other land is held by male member of the family. Okay, and then it is the World Bank report. In the World Bank, they said that the global female labor force participation rate is about 47%. The global average is 47%, but for India it is 24%. Okay, so here for the India they have said 24%. Okay, so there are two data here. So what you should use in the examination, use this data. Okay, the data given by periodic labor force survey. Okay, you got it? So in the examination, use this data and not the World Bank data. Okay. So these are the data related to it. Now I told you a lot of data here. Why do we need so much of data? See, every year there will be one question related to women in the essay. Okay, there will be 2-3 questions, one in GS1 and one in GS3. One question will be there with respect to the mains. Over there you need a lot of data to answer. Okay, so you should be aware of at least the basic data associated with the woman. You don't have to remember all the data. The only data which you should remember is, or at least if possible, if you can remember all other, but the minimum data which you should remember is the 35% labor force participation rate. Okay, 35%, and then you should remember that more women participate in labor force in the rural area than that of the urban area. Just the fact, that's more than enough. You don't have to know the exact number. Okay, and urban area the wage disparity is less than that of the rural areas. Okay, you got it? Yes.
So why it is different, sir? World Bank says it is 24 in India. Urban says 35.6%.
Yes. The reason why is that the data which they use. Okay. Generally, the data used by the World Bank, they do a very small sample survey. Okay. In that sample survey, whatever the data they find, they put it in the reports. Whereas in India, the survey is done in a wide, extensive manner. Okay, and the sample size is very large when compared to the World Bank. See, the World Bank has to do the survey across the world. So they take only one small sample and then they give the data based on that. Whereas the sample used in Indian survey is very large. They'll go to every district and they'll collect the data. So which is more accurate? Indian one. It is because the sample data. If the sample data which the World Bank took had lot of female participation rate, then it would have increased. Okay, it is basically they take the sample size is little less. Okay, so generally the international reports has a difference with that of Indian reports because of this reason itself. Okay, their sample size is less and they are little conservative in nature, whereas in India little positive in nature. Conservative in the sense their indicators are very strict in nature. Okay, their indicators are also very strict. So the criteria which they choose is also very strict in nature. They will not take everything into consideration. They'll only when a certain criteria has been fulfilled, then only they'll think that it is employed. Otherwise, they'll think that they are not employed only. Okay, that is how they take. So the criteria is very strict. Okay, and the sample size is small. Whereas in India, the criteria is a little liberal, considering the Indian situation, and the sample size is large. Okay. Okay. So generally, whenever a report is released by international organization, India criticizes that. One of the reasons of this criticism is this itself, Okay, because they directly say that your sample size is very less. How can you say this is a reality? Okay, so that is one reason why almost all the international reports are being criticized. Okay, so this is about a few data. Okay, next we have that recently the Nobel Prize was awarded for Claudia Goldin for doing advanced studies or understanding of women's labor force market, okay, outcomes. Okay, so this is the study which was done by Claudia Goldin. Okay, for this she was awarded with the Nobel Prize in economic science. Economic science. Okay, in the field of economic science. So in which all area are the Nobel Prize being awarded? And science is being awarded.
Literature, sir.
Physics, chemistry,
Peace.
Peace, literature, economics, and medicine and physiology. Okay, medicine or biology, medicine and physiology. Okay, these are the fields for which the Nobel Prize has been awarded. Okay, so the Nobel Prize is been awarded by the Nobel Foundation. It is named after Alfred Nobel. Okay, he was a person who invented dynamite. Okay, he is a person who invented dynamite. Okay, little information about Nobel Prize. Okay, in the past 2 years we have seen that questions have been asked with respect to the prizes also. Okay, questions have been asked from the area of prizes. Earlier no questions were asked from prizes, but in the past 2 years we have seen that at least 2 questions are asked from the prizes, and of those 1 question will be from the sports. So you should be aware of these sports activity which are taking place. Okay, so little bit about sports is also important, and little bit about the prizes is also important. So I'll just give you a little information about the prizes here. So here the prize is the Nobel Prize. Nobel Prize has been awarded in memory of Alfred Nobel. Okay, see, there was one incident which took place in 1888. In the 1888, one incident took place where in the newspaper the title was "The Merchant of Death is Dead." Okay, here the headlines of the French newspaper said something like this: "The Merchant of Death is dead." Okay, and during this time, it was published in 1888, and Alfred Nobel was alive. Okay, this was a misinformation. There was one misinformation which took place where in 1988 Alfred Nobel's brother died. Okay, and the newspaper thought that Alfred Nobel only died, and they printed the headline as "Merchant of Death is Dead." Okay, so this they put the headline something like this: Alfred Nobel felt very bad that he'll be thought that he is a very cruel person in the world. Okay, so he'll be thought for the whole life or the whole generation as such that he is a very cruel person. So he wanted to be remembered for something good. Okay, so he wanted to be remembered for something good, and in this light, in 1895, he wrote a will telling that he will give most of his fortune for the people who are focusing towards some developmental activities or in peace activities. Okay, so he gave most of his fortune to award prizes for people who are involved in these activities. Okay, so in 1895 the will was written. In 1896 Alfred Nobel died. In 1901 the first Nobel Prize was awarded by Nobel Foundation, by the Nobel Foundation. Okay, by in 1901 Nobel Prizes started to be awarded. Okay, it was awarded by Nobel Foundation. Now Nobel Foundation is the one which holds all the fortune, but there are different institutions which are involved in selecting the people and giving out the awards. Okay, there are a number of institutions present. Okay, and here whenever the prize is awarded, they give one medal, they give one diploma, and they'll give cash prize. Okay, cash prize to the tune of about $1 million. Okay, it is 11 Swiss crowns. Okay, 11 Swiss crowns, or generally it is about $1 million. Okay, so they give these 3 things as the prize for the people who are get Nobel Prizes. Okay, and then initially there was just for 5 areas the Nobel Prizes were awarded. That is physics, chemistry, physiology or medicine, peace and literature. The economic one was added later. It was added in 1968. Okay, it was added in 1968. Okay, it was added in 1968. So initially there were only 5, and sixth one came up in 1968. That is the economic prize. Okay, the prize for economic science was started to be awarded from 1968. Okay, when during that time the Swiss central bank chairman, he thought that okay, all other areas have focus. What about the economic development? Okay, he thought that economy is being missed out. So he said that they started giving the prize for economic science. So under his initiative, the Nobel is now being awarded under economic science also. Okay, you got it? So these are few basic things about the Nobel Prize. And one more thing, okay, all the Nobel Prizes are awarded in Sweden. Okay, is it right? No, huh? Why? Norway awards prize. Norway, that's Norway government. Norway governments also award prizes. Only for peace prize it is awarded by Norway. Okay, all other it is by the Swedish institutions, and only one, that is peace prize, is awarded by Norway. Okay, so economics came later, and one more different fact is peace prize has been awarded by Norway. Okay, Norway, peace prize by Norway. The reason why Alfred chose Norway to give the peace prize was that during his lifetime, Sweden attacked Norway. Sweden attacked the Norway. So he thought that how can an aggressor state be a neutral country to award a peace prize? See, if Sweden gives a peace prize and it only attacks other country, then what is the legitimacy of having a peace prize only? Okay, so he wanted one neutral country to award. So here Norway was the neutral country. So here the power to give the Nobel Peace Prize was given to Norway, and all other are under the control of Swedish government. Okay, Swedish government, in a sense, there are different committees which are set up in this one. Okay, so it's basically under Swedish government, under the Norway government. Okay, you got it? Any doubts? No. So this is all about the Nobel Peace Prize. Okay, now for the 2023 Nobel Peace Prize was awarded for economy, and she told few things about the labor force. One thing which she said was that we all assumed that the labor force participation rate has been increasing since the time of Industrial Revolution. She said that this is all myth. Okay, there has been no increase in the female labor force participation rate over a period of time. She says that it is a myth which has been there. Okay, what all she said? She said first one was like women are vastly underrepresented, means they are not present in the labor force. We have the example here. India is a great example for where we can see that how women are underrepresented in labor force. Okay, and next, they earn less than men. Okay, and female participation in the labor market did not have an upward trend. Okay, this is what has been said by the Claudia Goldin, where she says that she analyzed few data, mainly the US data, and said that everyone are saying that the labor force has increased, but in reality it has not increased only. Okay, in reality it has not increased only. And one more thing which she said was that there is a U-shaped curve in labor force participation. U-shaped curve in labor force participation. What is this U-shaped? Okay. She said that the labor force participation rate of the woman was very high when it was agricultural activity. That is, when the main economic activity was agriculture, the female labor force participation rate was high. The same is today also in agriculture, the female labor force participation is higher. That is why we see that there is high labor force participation rate in rural areas, because in agriculture we see that many women participate. The main reason being that it is their farmland and they do the labor in their land. Okay, most of the time it is their farmland itself, and sometimes they go help other farmland also, but most of the time it is their own land. So here what she said was that whenever the main economic activity is agriculture, the labor force is very high. Female labor force is very high. Okay. So here mainly because she said that it is mainly because the land is near to them only and they can work easily. Once the economy started to move towards the industry, that is when the industrialization came, the labor force participation rate of women decreased. It is because one is the increase in the use of machines. One is the increase in the use of machines, which reduce the demand of women. The other one is that now the workplace was a factory. They had to go out of the factory. Earlier, what the women used to do is they used to work at the home, complete their work, go to the farmland, help the husband. This is what was taking place. But now they have to do their work and homework, and then they have to go to the workplace, which is a difficult task. Most of the time, they are very far. So this is one of the reasons why the labor force participation rate of women decreased in the industrial activities. Even today, women labor force participation rate in the industrial industries is less when compared to male. Okay, you got it? So she told in both, mainly in the historical manner. Okay, but it is reality in present time also. Okay, you got it? Why? Okay, so the workplace changed from field to workplace. Now we are moving towards the service sector also. In the service sector, the female labor force participation rate increased again. Okay, here it is increasing because women are involved in many service activities. Service activities in the sense mainly in the caregiving activities, hospitality sectors, hospitals, the hotels, okay, teachers. Okay, there are a number of areas where the role of women is very significant. So in this, basically these areas are all service sectors. So again we saw the increase in the participation of women in the service sector. You got it? Okay, so here service sector it increased again, and again the reason why in the service sector or in the recent time period the female labor force participation rate increase is because of the changing values, where we are educating women, that is more education has been provided to women, and they have been like we are propagating the neutral values, in a sense modern values, where we are promoting equality. So this has promoted more women to enter into the field of work, okay, employment activities. So here that is also one of the reason why we are seeing that mainly in the service area we see that there is a lot of women who participate. Okay, so this is the U curve of labor force participation rate of women. You got it? It is with respect to the three services: agriculture, primary activities, secondary service, industrial activities, tertiary service or service sector. Okay, you got it? Yes. Okay. Next, so she said this thing one, and apart from this, all other things are known. Okay. What other things she said? She said that with the access to the contraceptives, the women started to get more opportunities. In the sense, they started to delay the family planning. Okay. So this led to more opportunities to the woman. Okay. So this is one thing, or the advantage with respect to the woman labor force participation rate. Okay. And one more thing which has been said, that is, it was seen that the woman's aspiration depends on their previous generation. Women take their mother or grandmother as their role model. If their mother works, even the child will work. Okay, so it depended on the aspiration of the woman. Okay, so if the woman's aspiration or the mother's or the grandmother's aspiration has been low, they have been housewife itself, then in future the child, most of the time their mentality is set in such a manner that they will also be housewife. But nowadays, despite the previous generation being the housewife, the woman or the mother actually tells that, they tell the daughter that if I had studied, then I would have been doing something else. This is the mindset of the current housewives. That is why the girls are being inspired to do work, because they think that their mother could not do it. That's why that doesn't mean that gives them inspiration, saying that we have to do it, otherwise we'll also become like our mothers itself. So the mentality of the previous generation is very important. Okay, this will set how the future generation is Okay, so this is also been said by the Claudia Goldin, where she said that the expectation or the expectations of the younger woman are formed by the experience of the previous generations. Okay, so these are few of the things which have been said by the Claudia Goldin. Okay, in this slide, why do we see that there is less female force participation rate? Why? These are very general points. Very general points.
Because male dominated society, sir.
Patriarchy. Next,
And lack of access to education.
lack of access to education. Education and skill. Lack of skills. Next,
And social security at workplace security.
harassment at workplace. Next. Yes? Glass ceiling. What is glass ceiling? Informal barrier put against the promotion of women. Okay, in simple words, it is just an informal barrier against the promotion of women to the higher positions. Okay, so most of the time it is seen that the male do not want to work under a female head. Okay,
Physical factor of women, like her body condition and strength.
yes, social, okay, health. One is strength, the other one is the pregnancy or the family planning. It also affects the female force participation rate. Many women quit after having their first child. Okay, many women quit after having their first child. Okay, so this is also one reason. Apart from that, politically we are not favorable. Number of initiatives are taken up, but most of the initiatives are for the men. For example, we take the agriculture sector itself. In the agriculture sector, all instruments are built thinking that they will be operated by man itself. What about the women laborers? 50% of the female workers in the agricultural area are women. Okay, despite this, they do not have proper equipment for women. Okay, so the policies are as such biased in nature. Biased policies. Okay, and there is lack of encouragement itself. For example, very few female ministers are present. Okay, very few female ministers are present. And even if we see that recently the panchayats have come up, the decisions are taken up by the male itself. For example, you have the Panchayat TV series. How many of you watch the Panchayat TV series? Who is the Pradhan in that one? Pati. Pati is the Pradhan. Okay, so instead it should have been the woman or the lady should have been the Pradhan, but it is all the decisions are taken up by the male. The woman does not even visit the office. Okay, the person organized the meeting, he took the decision, he went home and sent the papers to the wife, she signed it and sent it, that's all. So this is one reason. Okay, okay, so these are few of the reasons why we see that the female labor force participation rate is very less. Okay, in this slide the government should take up various measures so that they can improve the labor force participation rate. What will happen if we improve the labor force participation rate? It will help in making women independent. Okay, it will lead to financial independence of the woman. If there is financial independence of the woman, it will automatically lead to decrease in the domestic violence case. It will lead to decrease in the domestic violence case, and they will be able to take part in the decision making at the home. So it will ensure that the equality will be prevailing at the decision making level. Okay, and they'll give priority to both boy and girl child. Okay, apart from this economic independence, there will be one big pool of labor. Okay, for example, during one time the chief of the IMF said that if all the women or the woman takes part in equivalence to that of male, then India's GDP will increase by 27%. India's GDP will increase by 27% if the labor force participation rate of both male and female are same. Okay, so here this is one example of how it will lead to economic growth and more labor and talent pool. Okay, apart from that, it will help in poverty reduction. We have seen that in the cases of SHGs where there are women entrepreneurship, the women have started to take up various entrepreneurial activities and the poverty rates have reduced. For example, we have Kudumba Shri initiative in the Kerala, where the poverty rates have decreased because of the entrepreneurial activities. Okay, human capital development, because once the women are independent, they'll think more with respect to developing their children's, more of with respect to the equality between male and female, okay, something like this. So it will lead to overall human capital development, okay. Gender equality and empowerment, reduce violence, and one more thing is fertility rate will decrease. More the educated a woman is, less is the fertility rate, okay. So it will help in population control. Earlier the population control was more of a forced nature. Now it is because of the education they are taking their own measures, that is they are doing their family planning. This has helped in reducing the fertility rate and reduce the population growth. We are stabilizing our population growth, okay. So these are all are the advantages of having a high female labor force participation rate, okay. So in this slide, what measures should be taken up? The measures which should be taken up are, first is the policy reforms, okay. Next is flexible work management should be there, okay. Working hours should be more flexible, in tune with the need of the woman, okay. Skill training, educational opportunities should be provided. More SHGs should be promoted. More SHGs should be promoted, okay. Maternity and childcare benefits should be provided so that the women do not leave the workforce after the first child or after having children, okay. So maternity and childcare benefits should also be provided, okay. And apart from that, more entrepreneurial opportunities should be given, okay. For example, India has an initiative called as Stand Up India. Stand Up India, which is part of the Startup India initiative, where under the Stand Up India, loan is given to women entrepreneurs, okay. Loan is given to women, SC and ST people, okay. So SC, ST and women. So here we have Stand Up India initiative, which provides funding for entrepreneurial activities for women, SC and ST. So here the focus is women, okay.
Sir, I have some questions, sir.
Yes, please.
For example, if you take in agriculture field, like men work will be different and women work will be different. For example, weightlifting, sir. For
What?
example, weightlifting, if you take in that, so men will. This is my perception, sir. My points. Men can lift more weight.
See, that is a general thing, but most of the time you see that woman is the one who will be taking up more weight than the male, okay. It is a general perception which is seen.
No, sir.
Okay.
In that case, if that man is working more than women, can we pay equally? Means equal pay.
Yes.
Is recommended.
See, it is not the right way to do it. Okay, it is obviously true that you cannot give equal pay if they are not doing proper work or if they are not doing equal work. But in general, the work done by both the people are same. We think that they are doing it different, but that is not the case. Okay. For instance, if you take up any activity, okay, we generally think that they will do more physical work. Male will do more physical work than the female one. But female will also be doing some part or will be taking part in certain role. Okay, mainly the harvesting one, it is done by the female. The sowing is done by the female. Where does the male go over there? Okay, so the roles are completely different. You cannot define by just telling that one role cannot define thing. They will be doing a lot of roles. Okay, broadly their pay should be same because they will be taking up certain role and they will be doing some activity which is productive for agriculture. Okay, it is not just that they do take up more weight. Okay, it is true that they'll take up more weight, but it is false to assume that everyone will take up the more weight. Most of the time, they have certain racks which they keep up, and both male and female will be able to take up more weights.
And one more question, sir. If you take industrial sector, industries will take major place. So in that, machines or whatever it is, so usually men will be working more. So do you have any measures to increase participation of women?
There is no specific measures. That is what they are doing. They are trying to increase the labor force participation rate by providing various benefits. Okay, under the Maternity Benefit Act, the government said that they will provide various benefits to the companies which is small in nature. For big one, they have to take their own measures. But for the small one, the government will help them in taking measures so that they employ the woman. Okay, specifically there is no measures. For example, there is no reservation as such. Okay, the reservation is present only in the government one, but in the private one there is no measures. The perception should change, then only the things will change. Okay, any other doubts? No? Okay, so this is all about the female labor force participation rate. Any doubts? Okay, we'll move on to the next topic. Yes.
So in sports, which are the topics we need to focus on?
Generally, it is the prizes only. Okay, most of the time it is the prizes which will be awarded for the sports. You should be aware of the little like important sports which are taking place. For example, last year the question was related to Olympics. This year you might expect a question related to, say, Asian Games which took place recently. Okay, so whichever important event which is taking place during that time, you should be knowing about facts related to those
Should we
games.
focus on sports, state-wise sports?
No, state. Generally, it is the important one, very important one. For example, Olympics, Asian Games, the Football World Cup, something like this. Okay. So there have been number of controversies surrounding the Football World Cup. So that time, Football World Cup is an important one. Okay. Last year, now again, the Olympics is important because why is Olympics important?
Next year it will be in India.
Next year it will be in India.
2036, India is planning to.
Yeah, next time.
36. India.
36.
Yes, in 36, India is planning to host the Olympics. So that is why the Olympics is in news. Apart from this, the Olympics is also in news because they are adding cricket in 2028. So it is becoming big news for India. Okay. So there are few things which take place. So whenever such important events takes place, we should be aware of those events. That's all. Okay.
And with that, what are the things we need to focus on? Like who is conducting, what is the place, and who is
Most of the time, it is who is conducting the authority which conducts the sports, which agency is needed in India, or the body which is coordinating with the international organization. Okay, and then we have the one more thing is which all are the new sports which are added into the Olympics or the games specifically. Almost every year, Olympics they add new sports. You should be aware of the new sports which have been added up. So you should know which sports are being added in the 2024, and you should know which sports are being added in the 2028. Okay. So these are the broad information. Apart from that, they can ask anything they want. Okay. So it is civil service examination. There is no specific syllabus for it. But broadly, if you know this much, it's more than enough. Which is the organizations takes these the activities, which is the one which will regulate in India, regulatory body in the India, and then which are the new sports which have been added. And if some person gets some prize and all, then the specific area should be the focus. Okay. Generally, now it is the Olympics, and again the Asian Games is in news. You should be knowing little facts about the Asian Games and the like Asian Games, which all countries are present. So, for example, Israel, despite being part of Asia, it is not part of Asian Games. Okay, so this one is a unique fact which you should be aware of it. Okay, so these are such facts. There will be 4-5 facts. That's all. If you are aware of all those facts, you will be able to answer them easily. Okay.
and how many years data we need to remember, sir?
For-
For example, this year.
That's more than enough. 1 year is more than enough. Okay. Every year the data changes. How can you remember all year? It is practically impossible. Okay. 1 year data is more than enough. Okay. Any other doubts? Yes. Huh? No. Okay. Next, we'll take up the topic of anti-defection and speaker, or the role of speaker. Okay. Anti-defection and the role of speaker. Anti-defection and the role of speaker. What is anti-defection? What is anti-defection? What is anti-defection? What is defection?
Person getting suspended.
Getting?
Person is after elected is changing his party means that time.
Defection is changing the political alliance. Political alliance in the sense, changing the political party from one party to another party. That is called as defection. Okay. So, to avoid the defection, we have come up with a law called as anti-defection law. Okay. Anti-defection law. Generally, the term Ayaram Gayaram is used for anti-defection, right? For defection, the term Ayaram Gayaram is used. The word actually arose because of one person. Okay, I think in 1960s or somewhere, there was one MLA from Haryana. There was one MLA from Haryana whose name was Gaya Lal, who changed political party 3 times in a single day. Okay, in 3 days, he signed with 3 different political parties. From there, the name Ayaram Gayaram came into existence, where they said that how the person changed the political party. And this highlighted that how or what is the fear associated with the defection for the political parties. Okay, the defection actually caused a lot of problem to the government. Okay, here it is not just about changing the alliance of the political party. Sometimes it may lead to the fall of the government itself. Okay, and it is also going against the mandate of the people. Okay, people give vote not only because of the person, they also give vote because of the political ideology also. Okay, so for example, if I vote for some political party, means I'm voting that political party, not party, I'm voting the political ideology which has been promoted by that political party. And apart from that, if the person is good, then only I'll vote, otherwise I won't vote. Okay, even for example, if I know some person personally and he belongs to a political ideology which is different from mine, despite that I'll vote that person. It is because I know that person and I want that person to win. Okay, so there are a number of factors involved. Generally, people vote because they know the person and they belong to certain political ideology which matches with their political ideology. So people vote that. And if a political person or the politician changes the political party, means it is against the mandate of the people, right? I voted for this ideology also. You cannot change the ideology just because you got some other opportunity. Okay, so this is wrong. First is you are violating the democratical values itself. Okay, second, it affects the governance because many times it leads to the fall of government and pause in the developmental activities. Okay, so this is also one reason why defection is very bad. Okay, and this defection became very rampant during the coalition era. During the coalition era, the defection was very rampant, and for this they wanted to bring one law, and that law is the anti-defection law. It was added to the Indian Constitution under, yes, which Constitutional Amendment Act? 52nd Constitutional Amendment Act. Okay. Okay. The anti-defection law was added under the 52nd Constitutional Amendment Act 1985. Okay. It was added under, and what all were added? It added the 10th schedule. It added the 10th schedule. Okay. It added the 10th schedule, which provided the provisions related to the anti-defection. Okay. Okay. So here, what all were the features of the anti-defection law? Has the polity done for you? No? They're doing. Okay. The 10th schedule. Okay. So the 10th schedule is associated with anti-defection. I'll just give you the brief, in brief, the features. Okay. What are the features? It basically says that a person who voluntarily gives up a political party is considered to be defection, and that person will be disqualified. Okay. So the people who do defection will be disqualified. So there is provision for disqualification here. Okay, there is provision for disqualification here. So who all will be disqualified? First one, a person from a political party will be disqualified if they voluntarily resign and change the political party. So MP and MLA from political parties. Okay, political parties. Okay, next is a person, an independent MLA cannot join any political party after election. Okay, they cannot join political party after election. So if they join, then it will be considered as defection. Okay, for independent, they cannot join after election. No joining of political party. Okay, and next we have nominated members. The nominated members, if they join the political party after a duration of 6 months, then it will be considered as defection. If a nominated member is nominated and within the 6 months of the nomination, he or she joins any political party, they won't be disqualified. They will be disqualified only after a period of 6 months. Okay, they will be disqualified after 6 months. But there are few exceptions for it. What are these exceptions? The exceptions are that first, it is a speaker. Speaker can resign from the political party. Okay, and this will not be considered as a defection. Okay, when the speaker resigns from the political party to maintain neutrality, it won't be considered as defection. Okay, speaker. And apart from that, when there is merger of the party, in the sense, if there is a two-third split in the party, and they merge with the third party, then this will not be considered as a defection. Okay. Earlier, this was the term split was used. Means if there is a split of 2/3 in a political party, then it is considered. It will not be considered as a defection. But in 91st Constitutional Amendment Act, they replaced the word split with that of merger. So now it is not just split. If you split, you have to merge with some party. Then only you will not be considered as defection. Otherwise, you will be considered as defection, and all the people will be disqualified. Okay, you got it? So these are the two exceptions. So remember the word 2/3 merger and not split. Before 91st Constitutional Amendment Act, it was split. After 91st Constitutional Amendment Act, it is merger. Just remember 2/3 merger. Okay. Now, the final decision-making authority is the chairperson of the House. Okay, chairperson in the sense it is the speaker in the Lok Sabha or the lower house, and the chairman in the upper house. Okay, chairman in the upper house, speaker in the lower house for both legislature and the parliament. Okay, so it is the chairperson of that house. Okay, it is the chairperson of that house. You got it? Any doubts? So these are basic facts related to anti-defection law.
So for nominated members, it is 6 months fixed or given though, sir. What's the logic behind that, sir? Before 6 months, is not considered. After 6 months, it
See, the basic logic over there is that, see, the nominated members, right, they do not belong to any political party itself. Okay, so when they do not belong, and mainly they are experts from certain areas. So what happens is that sometimes what they feel is once they are nominated, they feel that they want to join some political party. Okay, so that like they want to align themselves to some political party. To give this flexibility to them, they are being given a period of 6 months. Okay, but for the independent members, they can join political party before getting the election also, because they are from the politics itself. Okay, but nominated members, most of them are experts. Okay, most of the time it is experts. So it just gives them a choice to join political party or not. It is very rare that these people join political parties. Okay, nominated members, it is very rare that they join political parties. But even if they want to join, there should be some provision which should be there. That is why a little amount of flexibility is being given to them. That's all.
So why particularly 6 months?
6 months is more than enough for them to decide. That's all. Okay, they cannot join whenever they want. Okay, there should be little rules also, right? Otherwise, once what they will do, for example, just for example, now Sachin Tendulkar was elected for Rajya Sabha. He was a nominated member. Okay, and now Sachin Tendulkar is elected. During that time, Congress was in power, so he'll join with Congress. Once the Congress changes power, he'll join with BJP. Is it the right thing to do? No, it is not the right thing to do. So to avoid defection, they give them saying that you join political party whichever you like within 6 months. After that, you cannot join anyone. That's all. Just to ensure, see, they should be given priority or should be given little flexibility because they do not come from the political background. Okay, so they are given 6 months. That is more than enough for them to decide which party they want. Generally, they do not join any political party. They remain neutral. Okay, so okay, you got it? Any other doubts? No? Okay. So these are the basic facts related to anti-defection law. Okay. So generally questions are asked with respect to the anti-defection in the examination. Okay. So in the prelims, if you know this much facts, then you can answer. Okay. I said many of the facts, but one of the disadvantage or limitation with respect to the anti-defection law is that there is no time limit to take decisions. Okay. Here they have said that the chairperson will decide the case. They didn't tell when should they decide the case. This is an issue now. Why is it an issue? There is no Maharashtra case, right? In Maharashtra, we saw that there is a split which took place in the Shinde and the Uddhav Thackeray, that is Shiv Sena, and the NCP also. There are two factions. Okay, so there has been a faction which took place, that is there has been split, and the petitions have been filed with the speaker telling that you take disciplinary action, that is actions under the anti-defection law. But the speaker has not taken up any action. Okay, the speaker has not taken any action because if he takes the action, means the government in the power will fall down. Okay, the government in the power will fall down. Means here the speaker is taking partial decision. The role of the speaker is to remain independent. Okay, the role of the speaker is to remain independent and impartial, but here he is acting partially. Okay, and there is no time limit given. This time limit, this is being misused by the speaker. This is being misused by the speaker. Okay, you got it? So there is no time limit. Remember this one. Okay, no time limit. There is no time limit. Okay, yes. So these are the basic facts. Okay. Now these are the basic facts, and now what all are the issues associated with the anti-defection law? I said one issue which is associated with the anti-defection law is that there is no time limit with respect to the decision which needs to be taken for anti-defection or defection which has been done. For example, we have the Maharashtra case itself. Okay, in the Maharashtra case, it's been more than 6 months and still they have not been taking up any decision. Okay, so this is one cause of concern because here the constitution is being violated. Okay, because constitution clearly says that if a party splits or if a person defects, then you should take action. Here no action is being taken up. So there is a violation of the constitution which is taking place. Okay. So now we'll say that there is no time limit only mentioned. So there is no violation of constitution. Okay. But generally, whenever they take any decision, they should take it within a reasonable amount of time. They did not add time as a mistake. Okay, they did not thought that the speaker might act in an impartial manner. They just thought that the speaker might take decision within a sufficient period of time. That is the reason why they did not act or they did not put the time limit. Okay, if they just put the time limit, say 1 month, what if the speaker cannot decide, or say for example in UP we have 500 MLAs, and of those 100 MLAs defect, can you take a decision for all 100 MLAs within a period of 1 month? You cannot take. Okay, so for that, to ensure that all speakers, like he takes decision in a sufficient time period, no time limit was given, but this is being misused. Okay, this is being misused. Okay, so here the speaker is not partial. We do not have a impartial speaker. Instead, we have a partial speaker who is favoring the ruling party. Favoring the ruling party. Okay, this is the first issue. Apart from this, they have said that the term voluntarily give up of seat. Okay, voluntarily giving up of seat. What is this voluntary giving up seat? Okay, everyone voluntarily gives up the seat. There is no specific definition as such. Okay, so here they will voluntarily give up and they will join some other party. This can be done. What if they voluntarily give up the seat and they do not want to join any political party itself? Then what is their case? Okay, so here it has not been defined clearly. So there is little amount of ambiguity present with respect to what is this voluntarily give up means. Okay, and one more thing which was added later on was, if they do not follow the instructions given by the political party, not following the instructions given by the political party, then also it is considered as voluntarily giving up of seat. Okay, means do you know that there is some person called as whip? Okay, there is some person called as whip. Whip is a person from the political party who gives instruction to all the MPs or the MLAs who are present in the house. Okay, for example, just for example, now we have BJP MLAs in the parliament, and for that there will be one whip. The whip might be any person. Okay, it can be any person. It is not that he will be minister or anything. He can be any person from the political party. For example, we'll take Prahlad Joshi itself. He is the whip and he will give decisions. He will tell that all people should vote for some bill or they should oppose all the bill. Okay, all the bill brought up by the Congress should be opposed by the BJP MPs or MPs in the parliament. So here, if this instruction has been violated, means if some say, for example, some situation arises, say the Congress brings up a bill related to some health related bill has been brought. Just for example, okay, the Congress brings a bill related to some health, and your district or the constituency is facing with health related crisis, and that bill will help you. Okay, that bill will help you. But here the BJP is saying that you should oppose that one. Basically, it will lead to the loss of his confidence in the people. People will not vote him in future because a bill which is in favor is being opposed by the MP. Okay, so here he might not vote. He might not vote in lines of the whip. Okay, so here can we consider it as violation of the seat, voluntarily giving up seat? No, but here also this is also considered as voluntarily giving up of seat. Means if you do not follow the instructions given by the political party, then you will be considered as voluntarily giving up of seat. So there are a number of issues which are present. Apart from this, there is a discrimination between nominated and independent member. Though there are few reasons for it, they do not want any discrimination. Okay, what they are telling is that if you are giving 6 months to nominated member, you give 6 months to the independent member also. Okay, that is what they are demanding. Or they are saying that you don't give to 6 months to nominated members also, because the nominated members will know that they are going to parliament, or say before nominated you will be consulted, right? So you will be consulted. So they will have sufficient time to think whether to join political party or not. Okay, so hence many see that there is a discrimination being done between the nominated and the independent member. Okay. Apart from this, many times this anti-defection has made the MPs the voice of the party and not that of people. Okay, they have made them the voice of the party and not that of people. I gave you the example here itself. Okay, they cannot raise any issue which goes against the party lines. Okay, which do not go against the party lines, even if it affects their constituency. Okay, they cannot go against it. If they go against it, it will be considered as defection. So here they are voice of party and not people. This is clear violation of democratic values, because they are elected by people. They have to work for the people and not for the political party. Okay. Next, restrictions on the freedom of speech and expression. Okay, I told you here only. So they cannot take up any issues which are related to their constituency if they violate the party ideology or principles or anything as such. Okay, so it restricts their freedom of speech and expression. And here, speaker is acting in a partial manner, and there is one exception which is provided, that is merger of party. This merger of party has been provided for some reason, but here today we are seeing that there is, instead of individual defection, we are seeing that there is something called as wholesale defection which is taking place. Literally, whole party will move from one party to another one. We have seen the case in Karnataka, we have seen the case in Maharashtra. This happens in many states. Okay, we get to know only when our state, it happens in our state. Okay, so because this merger of party is being misused, where in Karnataka only many people from the JDS left and went to BJP and they merged with BJP. Now what can speaker do? He directly said that it is a merger of party and it is within the exception. So those people were not disqualified. Right? So here, but in Karnataka that was not which happened. Okay, they did move out. For them, the elections were conducted again. Okay, to ensure that they have little amount of integrity. Just for the namesake integrity, they conducted one election and then they were integrated into BJP. Okay. Yes. Any doubts? So these are all the issues with respect to the anti-defection law. Okay. Now in this light, what measures should be taken up? Okay. What measures should we take? This issue of anti-defection has already come up in news. Okay. In courts under the Quixote-Holohan case. Okay. There is one Quixote-Holohan case where the anti-defection law was questioned in the court of law, where they questioned the power given to speaker, and they said whether the anti-defection law is constitutionally valid or not. Okay, so they directly filed a petition in the Supreme Court saying that this anti-defection law as such is unconstitutional in nature. Okay, something like this, they filed a petition. So here, under the Quixote-Holohan case, the Supreme Court upheld the constitutional validity of the anti-defection law, upheld the constitutional validity of the anti-defection law. It said that this anti-defection law is not violating the freedom of speech and expression. It is not violating this freedom of speech and expression. Okay, freedom of speech and expression, and it said that the speaker who now is acting as a tribunal, his decisions will be falling under the judicial review. So there will be judicial review of the decisions of the speaker, because in the anti-defection law it is said that the speaker's decision is final. Okay, the speaker's decision is final, but here the judiciary said that it cannot be final. It can be questioned in the court of law if it has been exercised in malified intention. Okay, if it has been exercised in a malified intention. Okay, so these are all which was said over there. And there was one more thing which was said over there, that is the judicial review will not come into action until the speaker takes a decision. Okay, no judicial review until speaker takes action. Until speaker takes action. Okay, so speaker should take some action first. So he should either disqualify member, or he should say yes or no. Then only the judicial review will come into action. Okay, this is what was said in the case. Okay, few minority members in this Kyoto Alone case, in the sense generally the judgment was given. Majority said that this is what should be done, but few minority judges said that the speaker power will be misused, because the speaker here is a political person. Hence, the power should be given to an independent body. Okay, the minority judges. Okay, minority judges in the sense, generally whenever a judgment is given in the Supreme Court, there are majority judges and minority judges. Majority judges are those who are in favor of the judgment. Minority are the one who are against the judgment. Okay, so those who are against the judgment, or they have a different opinion here. So the minority judges said that the power of the speaker to take decisions here is judicial in nature. Hence, and there are chances that it could be misused because the person is a political person. The power should be given to some independent authority or independent body. Okay, this was one more thing which you can write in your answer. Okay, so this is what was said by the Supreme Court. Next, the committee was set up under Dinesh Goswami. Okay, here Dinesh Goswami committee was set up. He said that the power of disqualification should be taken up by the President of India or Governor of State on the recommendation of Election Commission of India. On the recommendation of Election Commission of India. At present, apart from the anti-defection, all other disqualification cases are taken up by Election Commission of India. Okay, all other disqualification cases are taken up by Election Commission of India. Why give only this power to Speaker? So he says that the power should be given to President or the Governor, who will take the decision on the recommendation of Election Commission of India. Okay, whereas few other members or the experts say that it should not be Election Commission of India also. It should be given to judiciary or the judges committee headed by some judges, or some other independent body should be set up to take the decision for anti-defection. Okay, so but you can use the Dinesh Goswami committee itself, where you say that the power should be given to President or the Governor, President for the MPs, Governor for the MLAs. Okay, and the decision should be taken based on the recommendation of Election Commission of India. And they should also amend the constitution to add a time limit. Okay, they should add a time limit, say for example up to 3 months. 3 months time limit should be given, which is considered to be sufficient to take up any decision. Okay, to take up any decision. Okay, so these are few of the measures which were taken up. Okay, so they say that in the anti-defection law, these changes should be brought. That is, first, the decision should be taken up by the independent body, for example, President or the Governor, on the recommendation of Election Commission. And the second one is time limit should be added. They say that other provisions should remain as it is. It doesn't matter much. Okay, other provisions do not matter much. These two are the ones which are important, and we should bring in changes in these two matters here. Okay? Yes? Any doubts? No, yes, it has been said, but those are cases case specific. Okay, now they've said that the Maharashtra one, they have to tell it within December 31st and January 31st for the NCP and the Shiv Sena party. It is case specific. It does not comes under the law. Okay, it is case specific in nature. Now what they want is you amend the constitution and add it in the constitution, saying that, say you give, I just gave you the example of 3 months. Okay, they say that 3 months is the sufficient time period. So 3 months should be added in the constitution itself, where they say that once the petition goes to the speaker has to take the decision within 3 months. This should be added in the constitution, so that every time the speaker takes the decision here. Otherwise, what will happen? 3 months it will be with the speaker, and then the people will go to Supreme Court, and Supreme Court will say that you take the decision within 3 months. Even if they don't take the decision in 3 months, Supreme Court cannot do anything, because it is outside the power of the Supreme Court. Okay, yes.
But why can't they use Article 142?
They can use Article 142, but if they use the Article 142, it will be clear violation or entering into the legislative domain. Okay, so they are,
Many of the time they have violated.
They have violated here.
Activism or overreach, that-
which are cases?
No, sir, like judicial activism or overreach.
See, many of them have been taken up, but here you are dealing with speaker. Speaker is a constitutional position. Okay, he is an independent authority as such. The position of the speaker is similar to that of a CJI in the country. Okay, so you cannot enter his area or his domain. Okay, so every time, whenever such very complex matter comes, they keep out, because it will be clear violation of separation of power. They will be clearly entering into the legislating domain. Otherwise, generally what they say is there is a void which is present. That is why they take the legislative decisions. Okay, so whenever they take any decisions, legislative one, for example, we have the Vishaka guidelines or the mob lynching guidelines. They are just guidelines. They are the guidelines which should be followed until a law is enacted. Okay, until a law is enacted. For example, we have the triple talaq case. In the triple talaq case, the Supreme Court verdict remains till the law is enacted. Once the triple talaq law was enacted, the law takes the prevalence over the judgment. Okay, you got it? So this is the recent example. Now also recently, the Supreme Court said that I won't take decision in certain matter. Okay, because it was clearly entering into the legislative domain. LGBTQ case. Okay, where they said that we should legalize the same-sex marriage. They said that no, we won't do it, because it is clearly entering into the matter. They already said that the LGBTQ community have their rights. Okay, they have their rights, but they won't enact they will not say that you can marry. You can stay. Okay, that is all they will say. They won't say them or give them the power to marry. Okay, because it is clearly entering into the legislative domain. They won't do it. The moment they enter into the legislative domain, the legislature will cut down the power of the judiciary. Okay, you got it? Any doubts? No? Okay. So these are a few of the measures which should be taken up. Okay. So this is all with respect to the anti-defection law. Any doubts? Okay. Now we'll just take up few topics related to speaker as such. Okay. Office of Speaker, it is present under Article 93 and 178 of the Indian Constitution. Okay. The office of Speaker is present under Article 93 and 178. 93 is for Parliament and 178 for state legislature. Okay. The concept has been borrowed from the Britain. Okay, the concept has been borrowed from the Britain, means the idea of the office of Speaker has been borrowed from the British Parliament. Okay, and then what all are the powers of the Speaker? What are the powers of Speaker? Huh? Money bill. Next.
He has the power to conduct
Defections.
Huh?
child sitting something.
Chair the sitting. Joint sitting.
He can decide the defections.
Defection. Anti-defection law. Next. Special. Set the agenda of the house. Agenda of the house. Okay, he basically is the final interpreter of the rules within the house. Final interpreter of the rules within the house. Okay, final interpreter of rules within the house. Means whatever he says, what the constitution is, that is only right, final. Okay, he says that something is money bill, it is money bill. It's final. No one can come and enter. For example, we have the Aadhaar bill case. Supreme Court said that it is money bill only. Okay. Here you can see the example of how it won't enter into the domain of speaker. Okay. So here it said that it is a money bill, means it is money bill only. They won't enter into other field. Okay. So he is the final interpreter of the rules within the house, including the constitution. Whatever he says, this is what constitution means, that is what it means in the house. Okay. The person helps in maintaining the decorum of the house also. Decorum of the house means if there is something wrong which takes place, he disqualifies them. He disqualifies them, he suspends them, number of initiatives are taken up. Okay, to maintain the decorum of the house.
He's the final interpreter of constitution in the house.
Interpret within the house. Within the house. See, within the house there are house rules. Okay, Lok Sabha rules are present. Okay, there are constitution. If there is some ambiguity which arises within the constitution, whatever speaker says, that is all it is right. Okay, no other person can interfere into the matters of speaker. Okay, he is the final interpreter. I gave you the example, money bill. Okay, other bill, he told that it is a money bill, means it is a money bill. No one can oppose that one. Okay, so now see the Supreme Court has already accepted that it is a money bill, but now they'll take one more action. One more petition has been filed to question this decision. They are telling that this is not a money bill. So they will not convert the money other bill into normal bill again, because it has already been passed. Now what they will question in future is that whether his interpretation is right or not, or whether there should be some limitation which should be made to specifically ensure that this power is not being misused. Okay, so they'll the petition is pending in the Supreme Court. So I don't know when it will be taken up. Once it will be taken up, that time they will decide on his power with respect to the money bill, with respect to the anti-defection law, and final interpreter of the I said the rules or the constitution, including it also includes the parliamentary privileges also. Okay, whatever he says, that is all is the final decision in the house. So when the parliamentary privileges are violated, the speaker takes the decision. Okay. Okay. Any doubts? Okay. Now these are the powers of the speaker. But speaker is also having many issues. That is, one, many times he or she acts partially. Okay. Generally in favor of the ruling party. Next, many times parliamentary disorder takes place and the decisions are taken in a rash manner. For example, suspension of suspension of the MPs or the MLAs, and it will be partial in nature. Most of the time it will be targeting the opposition. Further, they don't give much time to the opposition to speak in the house. Okay, whenever they are speaking, they give only 2 minutes, and once the 2 minutes are done, they tell them to sit down. Okay, that is not the case with the ruling party. Okay, so they are not giving much time to the house, so that is also one criticism which is present. Next, they don't refer bills to the committees. In the recent 16th Lok Sabha house, that was the time when least bill were referred to the committees. Less than 25% of the bill were referred to the parliamentary committees. Less than 25% of the bill were referred to the parliamentary committees. So this clearly shows that they do not want many bills to be analyzed. Okay. Next, money bill decision. That is, we have the example of Aadhaar itself. Okay, where you can say that how, despite violating the Article 10 of the Constitution, which is related to the money bill, okay, we see that the Aadhaar bill was considered as a money bill. Okay. So these are few of the issues which are present with respect to speaker. So what should we do with respect to the speaker? We have to take certain measure for speakers also. 110. Article 110 is related to speakers, money bill, where they give specific provisions as to if what all will contain, then only it will be considered as money bill. If anything outside of those things are present, means it won't be considered as a money bill. Okay? Yes?
Using that article, Supreme Court may have said that it is not money bill.
No, they will say, okay, they have to say that one only, but when the speaker takes the decision, they do not interfere into this matter of speaker. Okay, because if they enter into the matter of speaker, then there are chances that in future they will enter into all the domains. So here they want the speaker to be independent in nature. So here they are entering into only defection cases because they are political in nature. Over there you are interpreting the constitution. So when the speaker says this is what the constitution means according to me, that is all, it is the final. Okay, the Supreme Court cannot say that this is something else. Okay, so here he is interpreting the constitution. Here in the anti-defection, there is judicial review which is taking place because it is more of a political in nature. That's why the speaker decisions are being questioned. Okay, you got it? Yes. Next, what measures should be taken up? We should bring the British model of speaker. Okay, British model of speaker is one example where the speaker is very independent and impartial in nature. Okay, in the British model, we see they follow a concept called as once a speaker, always a speaker. Once a speaker, always a speaker. Okay, once a speaker, always a speaker. This model should also be followed in India, where once a speaker, always a speaker. Here, once a person is elected as a speaker, he resigns from the political party, and if that person intends to stand again in political elections, there won't be any opposition only. There won't be any opposition. For example, now we have the Om Birla. Okay, whenever the Om Birla stands, there will be one significant person from the Congress will be standing against the Om Birla. Okay, but in British, if India was following British Parliament, then he will be the sole person who will be standing for election, and all the people will vote for him. So here, why is this followed? It is followed to ensure that his position is not at threat. Okay, his position is not at threat. When the speaker's position is not at threat, when they know that every time I will only be the speaker, then they do not have to align with any political party. They don't have to align with any political party because they know that they'll become the speaker. So their position is secured in the house. Okay, so this ensures that they will be neutral. Okay, and if sometimes people stand against them also, when they find that the speaker has not done the work properly, that time opposition also keeps a certain person in front of the speaker, and that time if the speaker gets elected, that person has to resign from the political party. It is mandatory for them to resign from the political party. Okay, it is mandatory for them to resign from the political party. Okay, and this will ensure that they act in neutral manner. Okay, they act in neutral manner. So this model can be followed in India also, where we can come up with the concept of once a speaker, always a speaker, and they have to mandatorily resign from the political party. Okay,
But
and
in India, it is to democracy, no, sir.
over there also it is democracy only.
In India, it should be elected, no, sir. That person should, for all posts, it should be elected. But here, there is no computer and no. Everyone is voting means.
No, this is just a convention which is followed. They want the speaker to be neutral. Okay, so when they want the neutral speaker to be neutral, the other political party will respect the other person. They'll know that. See, for example, now when in India itself, when President Ramnath Kovind was being elected, before his name was announced, many people did not support BJP. But once his name was announced, they thought that this person is a neutral person, and many political party actually supported that person. It is because they think that this person is neutral. So even in political party, for example, now in BJP, there are few people who are very neutral in nature and who are respected by all the political parties. If that person comes into power, all the parties are ready to accept because they know that he will act independent and impartial in nature. So they won't even keep any opposition in front of him. But in India, that does not happen. Okay, over there are people who are respected by all the political parties. So for that, they see that okay, this person will act neutral, so they won't keep or they won't field any opposition in that area. Okay, if they want, they field it. Now sometimes they field it because that person would not have acted independently. That time the opposition actually fields the opposition candidate in the speaker's constituency. They name it as speaker's constituency only over there. Okay, where the speaker will be the lone person who will be elected. Means there won't be any opposition. He will be the person, people go vote for that person. Okay, just to ensure that the parliament functions in a independent and impartial manner. That's all. Okay, they have to sacrifice a little bit to have this thing. Okay, in India, we do not sacrifice things. Okay, any doubts? Okay, and the other thing which should be taken up is disqualification power should be given to independent body. Okay, and it should be made mandatory for the speaker to send all bills for parliamentary committees. Refer the bill to the parliamentary committees. Okay? Refer the bill to the parliamentary committees. So these are few measures which should be taken up to make the position of speaker a little independent in nature. Okay? Any doubts? No. Okay? Shall I move on to the next topic? Huh?
Break, sir.
Break. We'll end the class in few minutes. Okay. Oh, we have not even completed the important topics only. There are many topics which are left out. Okay. I'll try to cover as much as possible and then we'll conclude the session itself. Okay. Next, the question or this topic is related to urban local governance. Urban local governance. Okay. See, urban local governance is a very important topic. Okay, because almost every year in paper 2 we get one question from the local governance as such. Okay, either the question will be with respect to the panchayat or the urban local bodies. Almost every year there will be one question with respect to the local bodies. Either it is panchayats or the urban local bodies. So this is a very important topic for mains, specifically paper 2. Okay, almost every year we get one question either from the Panchayat Raj institution or urban local bodies. Okay, so it is a very important topic. If you know about this, guaranteed 10 marks in your examination. Okay, so recently a report was released with respect to the urban local bodies. Okay, yes, any doubts? No, right? Okay. So recently a report was released, okay, by Janagraha. Janagraha is an NGO in Karnataka, Bengaluru-based NGO. It released one report called as Annual Survey of Indian Cities. Annual Survey of Indian Cities System. Okay, Annual Survey of Indian Cities Systems 2023. Okay, 2023. It is a report related to the working of the urban local bodies. It is a reputed institution, reputed NGO. Okay, Janagraha. Janagraha is a reputed NGO. Okay, it brings out reports mainly related to the urban local bodies. Okay, it is a Bangalore-based NGO. Okay, recently it brought out a report called as Annual Survey of Indian Cities System. What are India's city system? It is nothing but urban local bodies. Okay, it is nothing but urban local bodies. So it said that there are a number of problems with respect to the urban local bodies. Okay, there are a number of problems with respect to the urban local bodies. One of the important problems which was highlighted was that there was lack of financial autonomy. Lack of financial autonomy in the urban local bodies. Okay, there was lack of financial autonomy in the urban local bodies. According to the report, it is said that only Assam has given all powers, all financial powers to its local bodies, and only in 5 states significant financial power has been given. And all other states, they have to take the permission of the state government. So the dominance of the state government is very high in the financial matters. Okay, Assam and 5 states, they have given some power with respect to the financial matters, whereas all other states, they have to take permission from the state government, Okay, so this is one point which has been highlighted. Apart from this, they say that there is some power asymmetry which is present. Power asymmetry means large cities or mega cities have greater control over financial matters when compared to smaller cities. Okay, for example, Delhi, Mumbai, Kolkata, Chennai, they are mega cities. They have greater control over financial matters. Okay, in the sense that more power has been given to these mega cities, whereas the small cities, they don't give any power only. The state government decides everything. Whereas in Mumbai and in Chennai, all decisions are taken by the urban local bodies. They decide how the land development should take place. That's why over there, the election to the local bodies was very significant over there. Okay. Whereas in Bangalore and all, you'll see that the corporator is just for namesake corporator. We just go for all issues. We go to the MLA to get our issues resolved. Okay. And corporator, we just go, if we know that person, we go to him, we tell him to resolve certain issue. If he's doing, he does, otherwise he doesn't do anything. Okay. But in the Mumbai and in Kolkata, the corporators and the mayor have a lot of power with them. Okay. If you go to them and tell them to resolve their issue, they will resolve your issue because they have a lot of power, specifically the financial power. Okay. You got it? So there is a power asymmetry which says that mega cities have greater control over the financial matters when compared to the smaller cities. Okay, when compared to smaller cities. Okay, next. An issue related to mayor. In India, mayors are elected for a period of 1 year only. And they are just namesake mayors. Namesake mayors in the sense, see, the mayor is elected. Okay, Bangalore we have mayor. They are elected for a period of 1 year, and the mayor does not have any power. Whatever, see, it is just his duty is just like a speaker in the house. His duty is just like a speaker in the house. So the council meets, or the municipal corporation meets where all the councillors meet, and over there he will just take up whatever they tell him. That's all. The mayor does not have any independent power of his own. Okay, and many a times, whatever the recommendations have been given to him by the council, he has to present it to the commissioner. He has to present the thing to the commissioner, and the commissioner will take the final decision based on the decision taken by the state government. So the commissioner, so in Bangalore, we have the BBMP commissioner and the mayor. So mayor has to go and tell to the commissioner, and the commissioner what he will do, he will go meet the minister of Bangalore or CM, and then whatever the CM or the minister of Bangalore tells, he'll take that decision. Okay, that is how the system works. So here the mayor is present, but he does not have much power. Okay, that is one issue. And the mayor is elected only for 1 year, and he is elected indirectly. In the sense, he is elected among the members itself. Instead, if you take the international examples such as New York, London and all, over there, mayor election is a significant one. Okay, mayor election is a significant one, and lot of power has been given to the mayor. Okay, so here by giving lot of power to the mayor, it will help in ensuring that some person is held accountable if there is no developmental activities which are taking place. Okay, so he will be held accountable if there is no developmental activities. Here no one is held accountable. Okay, no one is held accountable. Next, the urban local bodies, first thing, they do not have their own independent staff. Okay, many attempts the staffs have been borrowed from the state government. Okay, many states do not have independent staff of their own. They are deputed from the state government service. Okay, they are deputed from the state government service. And apart from this, we see that most of the control is taken up by the state government, means the urban local bodies do not have control over the officers of the urban local bodies. For example, they are the BBMP commissioner and mayor. So mayor does not have control over BBMP commissioner. Okay, so here you can see that there is no control over the staff. Third thing associated with the staff is that there is very high vacancy. On an average, according to the report, the vacancy is about 36%. The vacancy is about 36%. And in India, the urban local bodies, they are understaffed. They are understaffed. Okay, understaffed. Already they are understaffed. Apart from this, there is vacancy, so they are not able to do much work. Okay, they are not able to do much work. Okay, and next, there is lack of transparency in decision making. Okay, according to the report, it is said that of the all 35 states and union territories, only 11 have mandatory public disclosure laws. Okay, only 11 states have mandatory public disclosure of civic duties, okay, or civic decisions. Only 11 have mandatory disclosure of public decisions being taken up. Okay, you got it? So these are the reports finding. So all negative things here. Okay. Apart from this, see, the report is one thing. Apart from this, there are a number of other issues also which are present with respect to the urban local bodies. The other issues are irregular election. Okay, in Bangalore BBMP, elections are due for more than 1 year. Okay, so this is a clear example. It is the case across the country. Irregular elections. Okay, the constitution says that the election should be held within 5 years. This is not taking place. Okay, next, state finance commissions, they're not set up every 5 years. They're not been set up every 5 years. Even if they set up, they give the recommendations, they're not even considered. Okay, the state finance commission's recommendations are not being considered. Okay, so they are not set up on time. If they give the recommendation also, they are not being considered. Okay, apart from this, there are a number of parallel bodies which are present. Parallel bodies in the sense, in BBMP only, there is BBMP. Apart from this, we have BESCOM, we have BWSSB. Literally for each and every department, we have one body. Then why do we need a BBMP? Okay, so here we have a number of parallel bodies, and there is lack of coordination between these different bodies. Okay, apart from this, we have urban local bodies one side, where we have all elected members. On the other side, we have the whole commissionerate system. We have commissioners, additional commissioners, joint commissioners, okay, who will take their decisions independently. They will not consult what councillors want or what people want, they don't care. They'll take decisions independently. So we have parallel bodies. One, urban local bodies and the commissionerate separately. Apart from this, within the urban local bodies itself, we'll see that there are a number of different bodies, such as, example, BBMP, BESCOM, we have this BWSSB, water body, electrical body, different bodies are there. Okay, so this clearly shows that there is no power for the urban local body. Okay, so these are the other issues which are present with respect to urban local bodies. You got to know what all the issues are. Okay, so these are the issues, and what is the impact of these issues? The impact of these issues are, it will affect public service delivery. See, whenever the impact is asked, try to write a very broad answer, okay, because you won't be knowing the impact for all the things, okay. So you have to generate impact many a times, okay. You have to generate in the examination hall itself, you have to generate points immediately, okay. So over there, try to understand what the purpose of the body is. You will get the points immediately, okay. For example, here, it will affect the service delivery. Here you use certain time words such as, it will affect the timely delivery of the service, something like this, okay, and give the example. Give the example, for example, metros. In all the states, metros are delayed, okay. In Bangalore itself, many times the metro should have been started, say for example, it should be started in December 2024, then it will start somewhere in December 2027 or something like that. So there will be generally delay in service, okay. So there is lack of timely delivery services. So it will affect the timely delivery of services. There is lack of accountability and high corruption in the urban local bodies. Okay. For example, we have the 40% Sarkara which has been accused against the government. Okay. It is because whenever some contract has been given, they ask a lot of bribes. Okay. So you just see, don't use the word like they have been show them as culprit. Just use the allegations of 40% corruption. That's all. Okay. Allegations of 40% corruption can be used in the examination hall. Okay. Next, it will affect the local democracy. I told you, right? We elect the councillors, but they're just namesake councillors. All the decisions are taken up by commissionerates and the state government. Okay. So it affects the local democracy as a whole. Okay. It is affecting it is violating the democratic principles of the country. Okay. Economic development will be affected because infrastructure project will be delayed. There will be lack of planning will be there, etc. Number of issues are there. Next, there will be lack of efficiency and effectiveness in implementation of the projects, and lack of public participation. People do not participate in the government activities. Okay, so these are the issues with respect to the impact of the improper working of the urban local government. Okay, you got it? So then what measures should be taken up? See, If you know what all are the issues, you can write the measures automatically. You don't need to know the measures separately. So what all are the measures here? Financial autonomy, you should just write saying that financial power should be given to the urban local bodies so that they can take independent decisions based on the need of the local. Okay. Next, power asymmetry. All the urban local bodies should be given similar power. There should not be any discrimination between mega cities and small cities. So all cities should be given equal powers. Means there should not be any discrimination between different cities or different tiers of the cities. Okay. Next, mayor. We should have a concept of 5-year mayoral system. 5-year mayoral system. Okay, where the mayors are elected directly by the people. Okay, direct election to mayor should be present in the country. Okay, direct election to the mayor should be present. Okay, next, control over staff should be there. First, we should have an independent local body staffs. Okay, we should have more number of staff so that there should not be any understaffed. Vacancies should be filled on time. Okay, vacancies should be filled on time. These are the things which you should be writing. That is, first we should have an independent staff for urban local bodies. They should not be deputed. Okay, we should have an independent staff. Separate services should be there for urban local bodies. Okay, separate services should be there for urban local bodies. Next, the control of the staff should be under the mayor. The control of the staff should be under the mayor. Okay? And lack of transparency, there should be mandatory bill with respect to the public disclosure of all the decisions which have been taken up by the urban local bodies. Next, elections should be held regularly. Okay? There should not be any delay in the elections, and all the recommendations which are given by the State's Finance Commission should be discussed in the legislature, should be discussed in the state legislature. Then only it will come to the eyes of the public that what recommendations have been given, and if it comes into the eyes of the public, then they may pressurize the MLAs saying that you accept that recommendations. If they do not even been discussed in the parliament, people do not even know that there is something called a State Finance Commission. Okay, so once it is discussed in the legislature, then only its decisions will be taken up. So here, mandatory discussion of or tabling of the reports of the State Finance Commission. Okay, we should table the report in the state legislature, and the matter should be discussed. Okay, the matter should be discussed. Apart from this, there should not be parallel bodies. Instead, there should be an integrated urban government setup, which will help in or ensuring that there is integrated plan in the urban local bodies. Integrated plan. At present, the reason why we have many potholes when compared to others urban local bodies is because the this BWSSB take their own decision and the BBMP take their own decision. Whenever they want, they dig the whole thing and they leave it off like salt. Okay, and once the election comes, then only they'll put the tar. Instead, if it would have been in an integrated manner, what would have happened is first they'll do all the water works and then they'll put the tars. Many times what happens is they'll put the tars within 2-3 months. You'll see that they'll dig up and they'll start doing some repair work. Okay, so this is because of lack of planning. Integrated system will help in efficient planning of urban bodies or urban areas. Okay, so these are all of the measures which can be taken up to improve the urban local governance. Okay, so any doubts with respect to the urban local bodies? No? Okay, so this is all about the urban local bodies. Okay, we are not able to cover many issues today. Okay, there are a few more issues which are pending. Okay, see, one issue which is pending is with respect to the railway cargoes. Okay, this is a topic in the GS3 where there is one topic related to the investments. Okay, apart from that, all other topics are related to prelims where there is nothing much to discuss. Whenever it comes to prelims, you have to know a lot of facts. Okay, if you know the facts, then you will be able to answer the questions. Okay, So that is mainly facts. I think there's no much time now. Okay, we'll discuss few of the topics in the next class, and we'll take up few more topics. Okay, I'll try to ensure that I'll cover it a little faster. Okay, so that like try to read newspaper so that I don't have to explain much. Okay, because all the topics are already covered. Okay, and I'll take up or brush up with the other topics in a faster manner. Okay. Any doubts with respect to today's class? Okay. Did you find the speed to be faster or slower? Pace was okay, right? Okay. Okay. We'll conclude the session here. Okay. Thank you.